Guido,
Yo.
you've had your radio swapped out. You there?
Yeah, it was the maintenance 5 minutes.
Can you guys hear Guido now? How's that?
Who can hear the dulcet tones of my great voice? Hey, can you hear me?
Slick. Okay, 5x5. We are good, baby.
All right, we're back.
All right. Let's get into some BFM. So what we were saying before you guys told us you couldn't hear Guido was that Guido 1,500 hours in F-15C in USAF, and we're super pumped to have him here at the clinic. He's going to bring some real world knowledge to these mergers, and you guys are going to have the chance to ask him questions, and we're just going to have a good time today. Like I was saying, there are some savage pilots in this comp, and it's going to be brutal. So let's get going. Let me just see where Hummingbird's at. We are in the server here, and I'm just going to tell him to get these guys in the jets, and we will start commentating this. So let me just send him a message. Go ahead and tell us about BFM in the Eagle while I'm sorting this out, Guido. What was it like to fly in BFM?
Oh man, it's the sport of kings. That's what we always said. Offer a Eagle pilot any mission, he's probably going to take BFM. Going to get up there, get mono, see who can survive, who can get to the floor and not die in a high aspect, who can turn a neutral merge into an offensive advantage, and how fast. Exactly what you guys are doing here. Probably the whole reason you guys are doing the BFM, for exactly the same reason. But the cool thing for you is, and me now, because this is how I do it, is that you can do it over and over, man. So to speak, you can merge 20 times in an evening if you want to.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I would go a day and I could get 3, and I had to go through the whole process like we talked about the other night. Whereas you can get rid of all the creep, all the extra stuff, all the admin. We can just go out there and merge and have at it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Here, let me get rid of the black in this corner here. You're gonna have to bear with us today, guys. It's a proof of concept session, and we're ironing out some crinks here with chroma keys and sound and all kinds of stuff. So let us just get it good right now, and then you guys won't have to worry about this black over my shoulder. We'll sort that out.
Hello, Aegis Captain. Welcome, man. Thanks for coming. So how many do we have today? Do we know?
There's 10. There should be 10. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm looking in the server. We got Play School. We got Kraut. We got AS-19, Chop, Weasel. Hummingbird's in there leading the charge. Slavish. Looks like Pixie 67, VFA 45. And there's some Guido guy hanging out as a spectator. So what do you think, man? What's the aircraft of choice? Do you think we're going to get any silly airplanes show up? Is anyone going to try to roll the ME-109?
Yeah, no silly airplanes, I don't think, but the Mirage is going to be a tough contender. Dylan there plays third in Folds of Honor last year, and he's brutal in the Mirage. We don't have Tor Savior with us here. Let me get rid of this black spot here. That's better, I think. That'll do. And let's fade that back in. Man, yeah. Now I can see why Moltar's always crying, because it is not easy doing this stuff, eh, Guido?
Yeah, man. Well, what are we, about 3 hours into it between last night and today?
Yeah, alright. So here we go. Let's get that up. And I can go there. Alright, let me get into DCS here. And we're ready to go. Range A and B. Okay, let's run the Range A fight.
So who we got? AS-19?
Let's have a look here. These guys should be jumping in the jets any second.
Play School and AS-19, it looks like, right?
Wait, are these guys on the EU server?
They are.
Man, I told him US server. I'm on the EU. I'm like, I go to the playlist. I'm the only dude in the server.
All right. Well, we got a fight going on already, it looks like, unless they're into practice. Somebody is conning. Looks like we got a Sioux. Looks like we have, is that 2 Sioux? Don't call me Sioux. No, we've got an eagle. We've got an eagle and a Sioux, and they're already having at it, man. We got an egg fight going on. At least the eagle's coming out from the sun here, grinding down. Now you're in another fight right there with the Viper.
No, I'm looking at AS-19 in a SU-27 here.
Yep. This is it.
Lawn Dart should not be in a jet, but yeah, there should be no one in jets other than the guys that are fighting Hummingbird. If you're watching the stream,
oh, is that what got it? Oh, there's
I don't know why he's running 2 fights, dude. I told him we're only doing 1 fight at a time. What's going on here, man? 1 fight at a time.
We're gonna have to do the Marty Feldman and put an eye on each one. Now, I'm watching the Sioux in the 15. Is that where you are?
All right. I'm watching AS-19, and he's up against the Eagle, which is Play School. All right, so Play School, Super Savage.
So we're 2 circle here. Looks like the flanker is making a bid down low, and he's bringing his nose on, but the Eagle tightened down. Ooh,
early shots. I don't think he's connected though.
No.
Play School 1 circling over the top.
Nice guns defense right there. Just got out of the way. There's some of that Eagle rudder action right there. He's flat plating it, but the Sioux just outpowered him into the vertical. Look at that. Now, is he going to come over? Have you got a hammerhead coming up here? Does he have enough? Oh, yeah, it doesn't even look like he's hung up at all, does it?
All right, it looks like Play School's going to get a shot off. He's pulling lead here. This could be pretty bad for AS.
Oh, guns defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. AS is out. Man.
Yep. Nice. Well, there you go. The F-15 Eagle, the world's greatest distributor of MiG and Sukhoi parts.
All right, so how'd you feel about that with AS trying to go over the top slow like that?
Yeah, that's a dangerous move. You know, it's easy to say go up, blow up, but if you can't get up and over and you get hung up, that's going to happen, man. People are just, especially gamers, they're going to pull and go, you know what, I got you. You're just floating out in space there.
Yeah.
And you guys don't miss, man. But rarely is an opportunity like that missed, you know?
That is true. Yeah. These guys don't miss. Here, let's check out. AS is jumping back into a jet, nose low. Pretty neutral merge here, 580 knots. Play School trying to get some early angles, and AS going over the top 1 circle in the flank. I think this is a good move. You know, using that nose pointing ability to get over the top here and get some early angles, going for the high 6, now dropping in on him.
Looks like the Eagle took about half of the altitude, but then he turned that into pure vertical himself. So he saved himself a little turning room, and now he's up over top. How fast is the flanker right here?
Flanker's at 427 knots, so he's flying a nice fast fight at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Eagle got hung up top there. He didn't really come down as fast as I thought he might. Oh,
he's going to go right with Play School here.
Okay. He leveled that off. That was an interesting move, actually. He just let the Sukhoi go up, but now they're both headed up top. Now this looks like maybe a potential gunshot coming in, and we're hung up high. That's not looking good.
Yeah, 180 knots with Play School right now, but he's going to get that nose down and get that speed back on. It doesn't look like AS is pressuring him too much at the moment.
Is he blind?
Well, he's still cold, nose low cold at the moment. I
might have been.
Think Play School might have him visual back now. He's going for that 2 circle, getting that speed back on his jet, passing through 350 knots now. But AS is... the
15 conned, so that might have brought him back into the... I think he was blind for a moment, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. AS forcing 1 circle again here.
Yeah, back to 1 circle, but nose dug down low, and the Eagle's over-rotating, but didn't take all that turning room around. Uh-oh! Just didn't quite have it, but that was not bad.
Alright, give me a second. I'm just going to move my webcam up a touch so these guys can see the telemetry bar. Give me a second here.
So we get an overshoot. Looks like the Sukhoi is going to go to lag. Lift vector, no, not lift vector on. This is an interesting move.
Guys, I'm just going to have to put another screen up just for a second while I move the webcam. Bear with me.
So I would have expected him to pull into the vertical there, lift vector on, but what he did is he just stayed up high, kept that potential energy, and now he's back around, lift vector onto the Eagle. The Eagle's headed up. Sukhoi is holding, having a hard time. He's at 300 knots, so he still has some nose authority. Oh, this is not looking good. He might, there it is. There's a shot.
Already some hits on Play School there.
Yep.
Big 30mm rounds from the flanker. You know, they hit pretty hard in this game, Guido.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But he's in the driver's seat now, though, isn't he?
Oh yeah, AS is. I mean, so this is. Now we came in a little bit late there, based on you know, some communication issues with Hummingbird. But correct me if I'm wrong. This must be the second fight.
Yeah, it's the second fight, I believe.
Okay, so if AS can level up here, we're going in for a decider between these two.
He's got the speed breakout right there. That's an interesting move.
I'll be honest, you know. Let me see this.
That's back in, so he must have done it on purpose.
Yeah, okay. Now, I'm surprised to see AS in the flanker. AS is an old school BMS guy, you know, coming from Viperland, so, you know, real interested to see him in something that's got the alpha capabilities, and I'm keen to see how he's going to put that to play here, especially in this decider match.
This is... Wait a minute, what was that all about?
If we go to a decider, I should say. Looks like, yeah, wow, what's he done there? I mean, they've reset 2-circle with the Eagle in the driving seat now.
Wow, that was really strange, actually, but is it going to hurt him? Well, the Eagle's coming in for a shot.
Oh, God, Play School melts him there. But it's not over until it's over, Guido. Look at that alpha spike from Play School, back up to the top.
Oh, look at that lift vector on. You got to love that. Oh, he's out of airspeed, man. He's real. Look at it wobble. Look at the Eagle wobble. He's going to drop his nose, try to get some airspeed back, and then Sukhoi bails him out, but the Sukhoi had to go downhill to get energy, so... Uh-oh, this is going to be...
Oh, and he's melted. AS is out of the comp. Thanks for coming, says Play School.
Nicely done, Play School. Well done on that. You got to love it. Again, the Eagles victorious. That works for me.
Man, where did my pen go so I can keep a track of what's going on here? You have to write some stuff down.
A couple interesting decisions there on giving up some turning room, but it didn't hurt him at the end from both pilots, and I think that's a little bit of the difference between the air quote real world and the gamer world. Sometimes you get these different moves, and they looked at both times I saw that looked to be preserving potential energy in altitude, vice going straight at them with bad angles. So that was very interesting.
Yeah, you know, and I was super surprised that AS gave up that really good advantage that he had there. He landed some of those big 30mm rounds and then just basically handed his tail to Play School. So I don't know what happened there. Really unusual for AS, you know. I mean, I've said to these guys before, what AS doesn't know about BFM isn't worth knowing, except today. What happened, AS? What happened?
We talked about that yesterday, though, didn't we? Because we talked about sometimes you just have a bad day. You're the best BFMer ever, and that wingman gunned you today. It happens.
Yep. All right. Let me communicate with Hummingbird here. Looks like Chop's jumping in a jet, and Lawn Dart. Have we got that fight happening yet? I'm just gonna send him a text. Music's still a bit loud. Okay. Let me get that sorted. Cheers.
Yeah, I see Chop down on range D.
Okay, that should be better now. Chop's in range D. Let's F2 to these guys now.
I don't think they're flying.
They're not flying yet?
Not quite, no. So what a classic Cold War battle that was. The Eagle versus the Su-27. That's some fantastic stuff right there. I got to be honest with you. Were those the first two jets you thought you'd see in this thing?
Nope. Well, I'll say straight off the bat, I did not expect AS to be in a flanker. That surprised me. I thought he was going to bring the Viper, but actually, now that I think about it, GFX have been re-enabled, and AS has been used to flying the Viper without GFX enabled. So maybe he thought that having the GFX back on today was going to be a limiting factor for him in being able to execute his rate plan. You know, there's been a lot of criticism of early G onset in the Viper, and it not really being able to do its job. But, you know, that I will say, EDE have made quite a few improvements there, Guido, with the G onset point in the Viper, and with some smart unloads, you can operate very close to 9G in the Viper at the moment, you know. So,
right.
Yeah, who knows?
Hey,
you know?
We got Chop and who we got here? We got Lawn Dart and Chop have just merged.
All right, let's go check this out. So let's ride with Chop. Viper v Hornet here. So let's see how Lawn Dart goes there with the Geon set and whether he can actually rate on this Hornet. And what my early suggestion is going to be is that it was hard fighting the Hornet in the Viper when the GFX were disabled. You know, so with the GFX disabled against this Hornet, I think he's going to struggle. But let's see what happens. Let's see if Chop here can execute this this one circle game plan on this Viper. Go ahead, sorry, Guido.
No, I'm just saying he went straight up into the bozo sphere there and was conning, and now we're way up here. The Viper looks to have some angular advantage, and he's definitely got the altitude right there.
Yeah.
But there goes the Hornet downhill doing that high AOA thing. Oh, look at that, just really trying to give him.
He's trying to, looks like he's trying to one circle him through the bottom. I mean, he's going to put idle boards out because the thing is, you know, Lawn Dart's got some real angles here. This could be a bit of a problem for Chop, I'm not going to lie. Let's go and ride with Chop and check this out.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is starting to get into Hornet land here. You can see this.
Yep, he's trying to draw him down to the scissor. The 16 had that one shot, and then he had to come off, and now we're stuck in this. And I think we're going to find the 16 is slowly getting below the 18, and then we're going to have a lift vector on and a bad situation to develop. He's doing his best to maintain his altitude, though.
Give me a sec, chat. I'm going to get rid of the low blow logo in the middle there, and just hide that.
Looks like Lawn Dart's like pulsing the stick. That's very interesting. Oh, this is a bad feeling because that 18 is just rating around on him now.
Oh yeah. I mean, once he got into that vertical sort of spiral to the deck there, and that Viper got slow, he started to pay for it pretty quickly. And as we can see, we ended up with Chop putting some rounds out there now. But still, I mean, he's still at 420 knots there, Guido. I mean, this is a fast Hornet, you know. Loads of nose pointing ability here. And it doesn't look like, I mean, the delta between these two airplanes in terms of this two-circle flight, not too large. And if he stays fast like this, although he's starting to bleed now, sub 300, that Viper is going to start getting quick and opening this gap here and may be able to get some angles back here. If he plays it smart, keeps climbing, he knows that Hornet is going to not be able to climb and maintain maximum sustained turn rate at the same time. So, you know, possibly a smart game plan by Lawn Dart here. Not his first day in the playground.
But he's running out of knots. Lawn Dart's about done. What are we sitting at in the
Oh dear.
He's coming over the top, but the Hornet still has some.
Oh dear. This does not look good, does it? 82 knots. With a Hornet pointing at you?
Oh, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. Lead top, lag bottom. That was nicely done. Look at this lead turn in the vertical. He's just going to own him right here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's it. He's out. All right, so that's 1-2 Chop there.
Well done,
Lawn Dart. Not sure why Lawn Dart got slow there. You know, when he started to get into that two circle and climb, and you know, it's hard to judge from where the Hornet was. I thought he was putting the knots on and basically starting to raid around, but he got slow there, and that surprised me. I thought he was going to, you know, get up to like 500 knots and execute a raid plan in the climb, but just didn't see that materialize, did we?
Yeah. While you were talking about the F-18 coming up and calling off the airspeeds, he was not far off from the F-16. The F-16 that was not actually out climbing him that much, and so when there was still some distance, right? So when the 16 topped out and ran at airspeed, the 18 had just enough to keep his nose on, and then lead turn him in the vertical, which is why going up is can be a bad idea if you can't build enough turning room up there.
Oh yeah, man.
Turning room.
And that Hornet, you know, if it gets up over the top and it can pyro it, and you're below it and you're slow, you are in a world of pain. You know, we've seen that so many times, haven't we?
Yeah, it'll just point.
All right, Hummingbird, you're right to go, man. Let's see the next one. Let's see Chop and Lawn Dart round 2 here, man. I hope Lawn Dart can put this Viper to good use. You know, it's come under a lot of criticism for not being very competitive in BFM, and so every time I see a guy flying the Viper, hats off to them, you know.
Yeah, we got a Viper through the first round, so that's not bad. We got a Viper and an Eagle so far.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to change aircraft halfway through? Or are they going to stick with the same one?
They need to stay with the same aircraft through the best 2 out of 3, and then, you know, if they make it through to the next, it'll be same as Folds. They can switch airplanes in the in the next bracket. Yeah. So each bracket needs to be flown in the same aircraft there.
Sure.
All right, we should Hummingbird's replied to me in chat here saying copy, so we should see this next fight coming up any moment. What are you expecting to see from Lawn Dart against Chop in this next one there, Guido, with that Viper?
And what's Chop in?
Chop's in the Hornet.
Oh, that's gonna. I don't know. He's gonna have to change his game plan maybe a little bit.
Hang on. Why is Hang on. Let me ask Hummingbird. What's going on there, dude? With Here we go. Chop's just jumping back in now.
Yeah, he may want to try a little bit more rate fight and try not to fight the Hornets fight there.
You know, I mean, I don't know about you, Guido, but if I'm sitting there with a Hornet 3,000 feet behind me, man, I'm not going to be getting slow. I'm going to be getting fast. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's your best plan. Just try to outrate him, and it's you're in the long game at that point. You're just hoping that he doesn't figure out a way to come across circle and threaten you and force you to bleed off some of those knots.
Yeah. Hummingbird, no, I think we need to see another round between Chop and Lawn Dart here. You can tell those guys to jump in the jet now. We're ready to see it.
We haven't seen a Mirage yet.
You got to bear with us, guys. This is this is our first time doing this. It's going to be emotional. So
it's going to be emotional. That's awesome. All right, I've got a Hornet in flight.
Seeing that Hornet.
There was a 16 and then it went away. There he is. Got them both now.
All right. Let's ride with Lawn Dart. I want to see this Viper go to work here. Come on, Lawn Dart.
Let's make it interesting.
Crowd, man.
Yeah, we had the first round was won twice in a row. Let's make the little drama here, Lawn Dart. Let's bring the single seat point fighter legend into the competition here.
Here we go. Now, we talked about this, didn't we, yesterday? You said in real life you don't see guys go vertical at the merge. And can you fill us in, Guido, as to why that is?
Yeah, generally we're not trained to that because of missiles. That's just not a great place to go for heat missiles. But this is BFM with just the gun, so it's about energy management. It can be a decent plan. He's going to come up top, about 300 knots or so.
Yep. And so if you're doing some guns-only BFM in real life, you're going to see guys popping flares so that they're sort of implementing that positive training. Even though it's a guns-only fight, they're still showing that they're thinking about the Fox 2s.
Absolutely. Everything, even whatever we're doing, we try to bring as much of the training into that as we can. Even when we fly Red Air, we do as much blue stuff as we can just for that habit pattern training.
Perfect.
I mean, even if I went guns only and I had heaters, I'd take them, I just wouldn't call them. So there's a merge and some angles.
Yeah, we saw Chop pulling for some lead there, trying to get a shot off, but I wonder. Let's see how much he bled for that. He's back to 3. I mean, he's still fast, dude. He's at 390, 420 knots now. Flying this Hornet like it's a Viper, and that mentality that he's applying to this fight, I think it's extremely intelligent flying because, the faster he flies that Hornet, the delta in terms of performance in the 2 circle between the Hornet and the Viper is really reduced. And I think that really minimizes what the Viper can do in the rate war, especially in DCS. Maybe it doesn't apply so much in real life, and maybe you can fill us in on that. But by flying a fast Hornet early on in this fight, I think it's extremely smart. And I do that quite a bit myself when I'm flying a Hornet against a Viper. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, man, I don't think they're that far off in performance that if you fly it well, it hurts you that badly. And we can see that playing out right here. I mean, look at him coming around. We got some 500 knot action going on, though, with the F-16. What's the Hornet sitting at right now? Let's go over
He's at 340 right now, so he's bled a bit. He's trying to pull, maybe just to apply some pressure. It doesn't look like he's going into lead. It looks like he's falling back into lag now to build that speed up. The nose coming back down through the horizon.
So the speed didn't matter, did it? I mean, it just didn't matter because the Hornet was close enough that when the 16 started turning, all he has to do is come across the inside of the turn circle, collapse the range, and he's right back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're at 453 knots on the 16, and it looks like it's really interesting because he's just sort of hanging back there, waiting for his opportunity. But he's closing in. I can see the range is decreasing here.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got the nose authority. When he decides to go, you're about to see some planform change. He's going to take a shot here.
Oh yeah.
Now this is the tricky part. This. Transitioning from that winning picture with a lot of speed to a gunshot without overshooting, that can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. that's the benefit of those 3K setups, especially, isn't it? This type of situation.
Right, to maintain that so you can get into a tree or just making sure you don't... Oh, here he comes.
Oh, dear. Oh. Man, they look super close. Did he land some shots there? I think he did, didn't he?
I didn't see.
Yeah, there's some damage up around the cockpit on that Viper right now.
There you go.
Yeah, and he's slow again. 200 knots, man. Oh, dear.
That was well done. That was well done staying behind him. The 16 just could not force the overshoot. Uh-oh. We're going to have a collision? Holy cow, that was close.
And the bunt over the top. Oh, my God, dude.
Oh, oh man, if he'd have had a little more... Oh, he punched out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was out of control.
By the way, dudes, no ejecting, please, because it fills the map with pilots on the parachutes, and they can act as visual decoys in subsequent merges. And we try to avoid that if at all possible, you know. So, no ejecting, please. That'd be awesome. Slick says, out of plane.
Yeah. I think he was out of control. That looked like he was trying to take a shot. Doesn't it look like maybe he lost control right there?
Yeah. So, Chop's through. So far, we've got Play School through and Chop through.
Nice,
all right,
nice.
Hummingbird. We're ready to see the next one, man. Let's roll it. Who's up next? Look at the names we've got in here. We've got Cinemass. He's a BMS guy. Be interested to see if he flies the Viper. That's what I'd be expecting Cinemass in today. Pixie 67, interesting. I mean, Pixie 67 flies a whole range of different airframes, but has a bit of an affinity for the Eagle, so we'll see what happens there. Slobbish is definitely a flanker fan. Slobbish body, and he's he's really good in that flanker, so looking forward to seeing that. Man, this Guido guy, have you heard of him before?
No, I don't know anything about that clown. I have heard that he does merge with guys in parachutes, though, at times.
Is that what happens? Okay.
Yeah, that happened to me, that's why I appreciate the no ejection, because I have bit off on the guy in the parachute and tried to merge with him.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at single circle, actually. It's a really tight circle with the guy in the parachute.
Aegis Captain, how's it going, man? Yeah, I don't know what crowd's going to be flying. Oh, F-16. We got a Viper v Viper fight here. Wait, Lawn Dart's not up again though. He's out. He's eliminated. So, Hummingbird, who is Kraut going up against? We've had 2 brackets through. We've got another 2 brackets, and then someone's getting a bye through the first round here. So,
we have a second Viper being put in the competition already, huh?
Yep. All right, we're about to see Kraut versus Cinemass. I'm fairly certain Cinemass is going to be in a Viper. I have no idea what Kraut's going to be flying, so... Here we go, Viper v Viper. Let's have it. This is going to be great. All right, hit it. Let's roll. Right.
Now, when it's the same aircraft, that's really the test. You know what I'm saying? Everything is the same. Who flies the airplane better?
Yeah. Absolutely, and GFX enabled again. So let's see some intelligent easing of the stick here, and no blackouts and some good rate fighting. That's what I'm expecting out of these guys here. Now I will. I don't think Kraut's going to be stream sniping here, but I will say I got to fight Cinemass, and he is a big fan of the one circle in the vertical with the Viper. So let's see if he tries to engineer this situation where he forces the overshoot in the vertical and then one circles the guy and tries to shoot him through the top of his jet in the vertical one circle. I'm looking forward to seeing some of that action.
So that was interesting. He took a bit away. I wonder if he was trying to psych him out and came back the other way. But you're right. One went up straight up into the bozo sphere here.
And we're not even seeing any flares.
Yeah. Well, Cinemass takes about half of it. So that's kind of what I do. Real world, you put your lift vector about halfway up.
Got you, like an oblique vertical, basically?
Absolutely, yeah. So you maintain some of your energy. If he wants to go up and use it all going to the top, at least
you got some options, right?
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you, in that situation with the oblique vertical, would you ever overbank back down through the horizon and try to set up a low to high remerge? Is that something you've ever done?
We don't do too many yo-yos that we call them low or high yo-yos because it gives up turning room. It works here. It works here because it's guns. But again, we're also looking at the missile part of it, so rarely do we try to give any kind of turning room away. It's almost always lift vector on to slightly lower, slightly higher or slightly lower. That's why the half oblique thing when a guy goes straight up. I'll just take half of that.
Yeah, got you. And so with, you mentioned the other night that with an Eagle or a Viper, if you're looking for them, you're basically looking around about the horizon in the 2 circle, aren't you? You're not expecting
Yeah.
to see a lot of verticality in these rate bird fights, basically.
Exactly. And we always loved it if somebody went very deep or very high. Again, the half the distance, that gave me turning room, exclusive turning room I could use in general. But that doesn't really apply here. If you can get your nose on and shoot them, then it doesn't matter how clever you were in your half of life, you're still gone.
I got you, Guido. Now, you mentioned a term, the interesting term, exclusive turning room. Can you fill chat in on what you mean by that?
Well, that's going to be turning room I can use and he cannot use. Turning room I can use and he cannot use. So
Yep.
if he goes up, I can do a half of light, and I'm going to have some exclusive turning room in that regime that he can't use, especially when his nose comes down and I still have energy.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. Now they're going
Now-
to one circle.
You know, there's a good chance we might see some of this exclusive turning room you're talking about here. You know, if that if Cinemax keeps this pointed up for a bit here, there's a good chance that
See, this is
Kraus
it.
is not going to be able to get the room up. And this is exactly
Right.
what we were just talking about, like you say, right?
Now, if you have the speed down there and can come back up, then it's not exclusive. But it looks like he had it. He just used it too. Although he's done a nice job tightening down. They're both keeping it tight, so that's not bad.
You know, on the exclusive turning room point, that's something you see Mirage guys in DCS do a lot, you know, because they can just basically hang it on the straps, keep it pointed up, especially against a Hornet, you know, and quite often you'll be in that situation when you're in a Mirage, you know, I've got one right here, and you're basically, you know, hanging in that vertical at like 100 knots, and you see this Hornet, and what you're doing is you're actually opening up the vertical distance between the two of you, and then when you pirouette that Mirage over the top, you've got, you know, quite a lot of nice room there to line that gunshot up. But if you know, you see some guys early on in their BFM careers in DCS, you know, they're going to try and collapse that circle early in the vertical, and what that does is it blows away that advantage, because, you know, as soon as they start coming back down too soon, that circle collapses in on itself. They can find themselves in a very nasty situation, one circle, and opening themselves up to gunshots from the other guy. Whereas if they would have just kept pointing straight up, you know, they're safe, because the other guy is not going to have the speed to get his nose back up to him and shoot him, you know?
Yeah, I think they'll either get nervous because they think the guy's climbing up and he isn't, or they'll get aggressive thinking that, like you exactly said, they have the room and can make it happen. And that's the assessment part. That is probably, and you know this from teaching this, is the assessment of what the other guy is doing. That's the key to this. It's fine if you're really good at flying your jet and holding a speed and understanding the turn circles and all that stuff, but that's a vacuum. That's doing it in a vacuum. You're fighting against that guy. What the hell is he doing, and how do I counter it or take advantage of it?
Big time Kingsley, why can't he use it? Well, it's because the guy who's beneath him is too slow. His energy state is too low to be able to get his nose back up to the other guy. So he may be able to climb, but he's not going to be able to have the pointing ability to get his nose up and get rounds on. Meanwhile, the other guy who's been hanging on his straps in the vertical, and, you know, even if it is 80 knots, still think about that. That's still like over, you know, 140 kilometers per hour going straight up. So the distance is opening, and then he can just basically pirouette over the top, and now he's got, you know, what, a few hundred meters to line that gunshot up, completely safe, because the other guy's nose is not coming back up to him. So, you know,
Yeah.
what I'd say is, if you find yourself in that situation, more often than not, you're better off just staying in the vertical, even if you are extremely slow. Look at this, Cinemass just putting him away.
Got him. Yep.
Yep, definitely better just keeping that nose up there, wouldn't you say, Guido, rather than collapsing that circle and hurrying to get your nose back down
Right.
for the shot.
Right. And exactly what you said on the exclusive turning room. There's lots of examples of it. Probably the easiest one is what you're talking about, what I call the tree. You got a guy high, you got a guy low. They're both at 150 knots. The guy low does not have the power to go, hey, I can use this turning room. This guy can come off and use God's G and go, all this room is mine to use. And if I bring my nose down, like you said, he's got to defend and get out of the way. Now, what you have to be careful about is obviously overshooting, because now when I go down here, guess whose turning room it is? It's this guy's turning room now.
Yep, exactly right.
Well,
All right,
we
so
were talking, that turned into a bit of a rate fight, but then collapsed back into a one circle.
Well, and that's the thing, man. I'll tell you, against Cinemass, you know, I know Kraut coming from 14th VFS, those guys are no joke, but, you know, Cinemass, you got to understand, he comes from BMS, and he's had years to perfect his one circle work in the Viper. and he's brought that skill set across with him to DCS, and he's putting it to good use. You know, I can tell you one thing about Cinemass is that he will try to engineer one circle fights in the Viper whenever he can. You know, you contrast him against guys like Burno, who loves to live in the 2 circle, in the vertical in the Viper. You know, Cinemass, he's going for something else, something quite sneaky, because you don't typically associate guys in the Viper with trying to force 1 circle, right? But let me tell you, Cinemass does that all the time.
So did BMS's, the way it flew, was it close enough to DCS? It was a pretty close analog, like guys coming over didn't really lose much?
Quite different. Talking to the BMS guys in the past few weeks, you know, things in the DCS Viper happen a fair bit quicker because it accelerates faster. So, you know, they can put the knots back on quicker, and it just results in more dynamic fights. Whereas the BMS dogfights, there were more of a strategic engagement, not the fast day trading of energy we see here in DCS. You know, with rapid switches between 2 circle into 1 circle and then possibly back again. You know. And I'm sure AS can comment if he's in chat in the stream. But basically, the Viper fights that we're seeing in DCS versus the Viper fights in BFM are a more dynamic affair.
Okay, copy.
Now we can see already Cinemass getting some angles in this 2 circle fight. Let's go and ride with him here and check out this energy state. 320 knots. Okay, so AS has just said in chat, Viper and BMS is more delicate. We start with 100% fuel. It gets very agile and horny once though light.
Well, that's pretty realistic, actually. And yeah, the lighter you get in a fighter, the more, well, the center of gravity and the aerodynamic center usually gets closer. That's the general design of an aircraft, and it will become more unstable / more maneuverable.
Yeah.
So anytime aerodynamically an aircraft is more unstable, it's typically more maneuverable, unless we're talking some weird asymmetry, but that's not how you design an airplane. That's usually an emergency of some kind. Look at the bend on the wings on the F-16 right there.
Yeah, pretty nice. And that's one of the reasons they put AMRAAMs on the wingtips, isn't it? To keep them weighted?
Yeah, I think there was some flutter issues right there, so the AMRAAM actually helped that out, kind of stabilize it a bit.
Great.
He's got
look at this, 450 knots, 470 accelerating here and pulling hard. You know, he's up at, let's see the G. I saw 8.5 there briefly. Bearing in mind that the control wide telemetry can be a bit inaccurate compared to what the pilot's actually seeing in the cockpit. It tends to overread on the telemetry bar at the bottom of the screen.
At that speed, look at the lead he needed to shoot. Did you see how far out in front he had to be?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Back at a lag here, 560, super fast. I'd expect to see him under bank here and get that lift vector above the horizon, watch that speed back off and start raiding again. But
do I bring up the G thing? We're raging around at 9.4. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Man, both these guys would be asleep minutes ago if they were actually trying to do that many Gs for that long.
So tell us, in the Eagle, if you were at 8.5 G, how long would you be able to sustain that for then in real life?
Good Lord. 20 seconds, 45 at the most. 45 would be a freaking eternity. And by the time you were done with it, you were being all you could be to not go to sleep.
Wow.
And that doesn't mean you're not fighting any. Oh, boy, we got a problem here. Whoa, overshoot. Look at that. That's a change.
And there he goes into... Let's see, okay, if he keeps his nose pointed up, I think he's in a good place.
Man, he really climbed. He had a lot of energy when he overshot. He simply took it into the vertical and just turned it into potential energy up above. That was actually not bad.
Yeah, and look at Kraut going into lag here, building that energy state, you know. He's in no hurry to point at center mass, and I think that's a really good decision.
Yeah, he didn't need to climb up. I think he was maybe an idle to force that overshoot. I didn't pay attention to the burner, but he definitely was slowing down to force it, so he had to get his energy back after.
Now, check out the difference in energy states here. Kraut's back at 400. Cinema's still a little bit slower. Well, he's putting the knots back on now, up above 410. But yeah, man, Kraut has all the angles now. This is Kraut's fight to lose. But you know, the thing is, they say don't fight the man, fight the machine, right? But if you're both in Vipers, you're fighting the man, aren't you? A little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's because everything else is equal, right? They started off with the same fuel, the the same rounds, the same airplanes, same engines, all that good stuff. Now we're into the Bozosphere again. Look at him; we're just rocketry right now. We're headed straight up.
What are you thinking about this? I mean, he's got him back there. What must this be? About 4,000 feet, possibly, and he's getting sub 200 knots. I don't think this is looking too promising for Cinemass right now. I have to be honest.
Yeah, I think
37,000 feet.
If Kraut can keep some kind of control, he's going to have a shot right here leading over the top, because unless he falls off first, which may happen. Oh, he's at 50. He's falling off first. Oh no, this is not good.
Oh man,
not good. He did not have the same energy going uphill, and it looks like Cinemass is trying to get enough to get nose authority. He's got the speed brakes.
Yeah, some hits.
Oh,
yep.
That's it.
You know what? Hats off to Cinemass, because he committed to that vertical. You know, I said he looks like he's in a bad spot, but he just trusted in his energy state there. You know, I mean, it looked a bit sketchy for a little while, you know, if Kraut was going to put some rounds up there and just, you know...
Yeah.
I mean, why die with rounds in your gun, right? I mean, if you can get the nose up, just put them out there, I'm saying it. But Cinemass trusting that... Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm excited, but this is exactly why watching the gamers do this is so cool. That is not something I would have necessarily thought of doing when I was really flying, mostly because we wouldn't use that much energy or gas anyway, just blasting straight into the air. But if you're in a fight for your life or in a game like this, that was a great idea. You know what I mean? And it worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not something I would have practiced. Now, I've been in stuff like that on occasion, but usually that's like we were talking about last night, some kind of CT, continuation training mission, where it's 2 instructors or something, and we're kind of trying to push the envelope and do different things. Usually you're doing very standard BFM, and I liked what you said yesterday. It was really interesting. I hadn't thought about it, but you said, hey, you know, when real fighter pilots come, they're very passive at first. It's just because of the way we train.
Yeah.
But I love that, because that was a thinking man's move right there. Good stuff.
Well, you know, there is always an exception to the rule, and the exception is Play School. I mean, he was a real fighter pilot flying Rafales in the French Marines, and in DCS, man, he is aggressive as hell, you know, like especially when he's flying that Eagle. So, you know, and he's in the comp here today. He already got through the first bracket. Just to round up on who we've got through at the moment. Play School's through, Chop is through, and Cinemass is through. Now, we saw Chop in a Hornet, didn't we? Cinemass in the Viper. I'm just going to write some of these down. Yeah. So, and Play School was in the Eagle, wasn't he? Up against the Flanker in the first round?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, so this is pretty interesting, because so far we've had an Eagle get through, a Hornet, and an F-16. And let's see what the next one is. Hummingbird, you're ready to line it up? Let's see the next guys go through here. Must be Pixie 67 and a Dylan, I'm guessing, or possibly Slobbish.
What I'll say about, you know, the real fighter pilots playing, I think as you play more, you would naturally fall into what works here, which is what you guys have learned. So that's what I'm trying to do right now personally, is get a little more aggressive on how I fly in DCS. And it's cool because it allows you to explore that envelope, which you really didn't do when you were really flying. So pretty cool stuff, man.
Here, let me... the guys in chat are saying it's a little bit laggy at the moment. I think that may be because I didn't have my fans turned on my graphics card. You know, it's like I've got this... It's like a real-world jet. I've got a procedure for when I go fly VR. You know, I run through all my stuff. And then today I jump in here and I put DCS on my pancake and completely forget to, you know, cool my graphics card. So, man, I told you it was going to be emotional today, and it's proven that way. So sorry about that, guys. I've fired up the fans on the 2080 Ti, and I'm hoping that this starts to smooth out for you guys there.
Looks like my picture fell off the stream right there, but...
You lost it? Okay, let me...
True to form for an old fighter pilot, I have to go use my piddle pack. I'll be right back, man.
Got you, dude. We got you back there. All right. So let's just... he flew Rafales in the French Marines, and I'm going to actually go grab my charger for my phone, because my battery's about to die, and that's the only way that I can see Guido on the camera. So I'll be right back, guys. Just hold off on that next fight there, Hummingbird. All right, I'm back. Hey, thanks for bearing with us, chat. You have to understand, you know, I'm not going to speak for Guido here, but I'm getting old and I'm delicate, and we need breaks, and we need to go do wee-wees and stuff. So thanks for chilling. Now let's see.
How many formations have you stood in having to whiz, being super angry that you couldn't go to the bathroom?
Well, I mean, I flew Herc, so we had a toilet on board.
You bastard.
And a microwave.
I was supposed to fly the Eagle. We were going to. I'll make this quick. We're going to Turkey, and long story short, mine broke, so I had to get on the big cargo plane that was carrying everybody. It was a 141. This was a while ago, and I was mad because I wasn't able to fly the Eagle. So I get back in there. They offer me to come up. I'm sitting in the jump seat up front, and we're in Alaska. Northern Lights are taking off at night. All the Eagles are gone. We have all the maintainers and the equipment in the back. We take off, and all of a sudden I start smelling the cinnamon buns, and then I smell the coffee. And one of the guys like, "Hey, would you like a coffee and the cinnamon bun?" And I'm sitting there in the jump seat, not a care in the world, looking at the Northern Lights, eating a cinnamon bun and a coffee, and I went, "All right, that's not bad."
That's pretty nice, man. Yeah, I mean, what was it? We were coming out of Malaysia and eating laksa, you know, up there. You know, so yeah. I mean, I'd like to see you eat laksa in your F-15, but the thing is, I'd rather be in the F-15 if I'm honest. So
yeah, ultimately that's true, but you know, it wasn't bad. There was a pisser too, so that was nice. You know, I didn't have to pee in the bag.
Man, I don't even want to ask you about a number two. We could talk about that off stream. But
I got a great story about that, but yeah, off stream I'll let you know that one.
Yeah. All right, Humber, I think we're ready to roll it. Let's have it. We got Dylan and Slobis. Oh, and Dylan is in a Hornet. Man, I was expecting him in a Mirage, but okay, let's see this. This is gonna be fun.
Slavic is in a Sioux. That's what you said he'd be in, right?
Yeah, there's coffee in there. Yep. Yeah, Slobish is he loves the SU-27. So we got two jets with nose pointing ability. This is gonna be a fun fight. Oh, here we go. Let's see this.
Fights on.
Man, look at the size of that flanker, would you? I mean, it is a big airplane.
It is massive. Yeah. Get the big stinger on the back. It's a cool looking jet, man.
Man, you know what airplane I've always been in awe of is the SU-34. That thing just looks like badass, doesn't it?
Yeah, flanker plus. Here we go, merged.
Straight up vertical with the Hornet. Where are the flares, my dude? Where are the flares?
See, there was a little bit of exclusive turning room for the guy down below, but he can change that when we get over top, depending on how they work the energy, and it looks like a fairly neutral merge.
Slobbish already trying to point. You see this?
Oh, look at this. Is he going to get... Oh, that was close. He used a lot of energy doing that.
Reversal, one circle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Over the top pirouette. This is going to be... I think he's going to pay for it here.
Yeah, he really needed that shot.
Oh, and he unloads.
Okay. There we go. What's the Hornet's airspeed? We've got the Sioux at about 150. He's just got enough to get his nose over the top.
Yeah.
What's the Hornet doing?
He's unloading now. Back through 180. That SU putting some knots on, you know.
They're both slow, so he didn't get much of an advantage out of that.
Now, talk to us about lift vector placement in these rollers, Guido. What are you wanting to see from these guys as they move into the roller?
Well, as you're headed downhill, provided you're neutral, you want to be slightly above to maintain some of the altitude. But once you get altitude deltas, you really just want to collapse the range on there and not let him get any angles with his nose.
Yeah.
Like right there's not a bad idea to put lift vector straight on. Ooh, I wouldn't have turned away. That was not good. Yeah, he's guns defense now, so he's got to do whatever he needs to do to not get hit.
Now, see, this was the situation we were talking about before. If do you see how Slobbish collapses the circle immediately there? I mean, yeah, maybe he judged the Hornet's energy state correctly, but I feel by coming back down, he's allowed that Hornet to get its nose back below the horizon and maintain that nose pointing ability, and he's paid for it. But if he had just hung on the straps in the vertical there and tried to maybe go for exclusive turning room, as we were talking about before, maybe that would have worked out differently for him there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a judgment call, right? You're looking down at that Hornet going, man, is that nose going to come up with me stuck up here? Is this gamble going to pay off, or do I need to bail out now and try to do something different?
Yeah, so Dylan putting away the flanker. It's 1-0 at the moment.
That was fast, wasn't it?
That was super quick, yeah. I mean, these pointy airplanes, you're expecting that a little bit, aren't you?
Wow, that was impressive for the Hornet, man. It really just I mean, it didn't feel like it got outpowered. It didn't feel like it got outpointed. It just completely outdid everything the Sioux was trying to do on that one. Let's see if he tries to use a little more energy this time instead of being pointy.
All right, Merge and Dylan taking the oblique vertical again, one circle, and Slobbish trying to meet him. Let's see if Slobbish is staying nose low to just retain a bit of options here. Okay, what's he trying to do? He's got good nods here, 380.
Yeah.
And Dylan's okay.
I like it. I like it. He was
good.
a little late. He was a little late to go into that lead turn in the vertical, but not bad, man. What's the knots of the Hornet though down below?
Man, Yada, Slobbish at 160. He's going to start getting that energy back on. This is looking quite nice for the flanking now. Oh, and Dylan's going nose low, giving him the tail a little bit there.
Oh,
So that's more vertical turning room. That is not a good move for the Hornet. I don't think that was a good choice there.
Knots. Oh, look, he's sold out for that shot again. Oh man, he's sold out for that high energy shot or the high angle shot. And the Hornet is able to use the knots he got.
But you look at this, lift vector placement from Slobbish there behind that Hornet, I think is paying off. That was a good decision in that pool to put that lift vector behind that Hornet. Really smart flying there.
So his choice here is to cut across the inside of the circle or go to slight lag. And you guys are aggressive, so it looks like he's actually just going to pull in plane. Now he's going to reverse here as soon as the line of sight starts.
I'll be honest, that's not the choice I would have made there. I would have gone into lag and fly for the offensive into the wedge,
Because he was owning him, wasn't he? He was riding high and he just collapsed it and let him get back in the fight, but he's still there though.
Oh wait, did someone punch there? I saw something. It looked like something came off that Hornet, but
I think they're still fighting.
Okay, must have been a puff of smoke then. Yeah, things look different on the screens of VR, So I never play DCS on the monitor anymore, and you'll have to excuse me for that one. All right, here we go. So up over the top, Dylan going for the pirouette. Smart play here, and Slobby is staying nose low. Okay, has that worked out for him? Let's see. It's hard to see with his F5 view. Let me go and ride with Dylan and see it from a different view.
I think he's playing the Hornets game again, and it's not really going to go well. Is he going to get around on him? Look, the Hornet's going to come up. He's going to roll him. He's going to basically do a lag roll over top. Yeah, this is not good. He's only at 200 knots. The Sukhoi. I mean, I think the Sukhoi should just punch his nose down to the ground and try to extend on this one, because he's not going to win this fight, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, maybe once this Hornet comes up, he's going to create that escape window for himself and take it. But yeah, I agree with you. Trying to stay in this fight with Dylan is probably not the best move. That flanker is a big jet, and it's got big engines, but that Hornet, man, once it gets up over the top like that, he really goes for that hard pirouette and unloads and blunts over the top and gets just enough knots back, 20-30 knots, and starts moving that nose on you, man. Especially with rudder or asymmetric thrust, he can do some crazy things. And I mean, we haven't seen that from Dylan just yet, but I sense that if Dylan sees the opportunity, he's not going to hesitate in going for some proper Hornet shenanigans here. So
Dylan bailed out of the vertical, went back to the horizontal, avoided the gunshot, and got some energy back, and went back into the vertical. That was an interesting move right there.
Thanks for the follow, Black Haze. So
what do we got? We got 300 knots. Oh, the Hornet is really slow coming up over the top.
Well, now we're in an interesting position here because these guys are getting back down towards the deck, and soon we're going to be at that altitude where they can't cut across the bottom of the coffee cup anymore, right. And we're probably going to see a bit more flat scissors, And out of these two jets, which one do you think is going to perform better in the flat scissors regime?
Man, I don't know, man. I think that the Hornet's probably got the advantage there, doesn't it? I mean, the Sioux can get him to the floor and stop giving the altitude. He's going to have that rape fight action going on, and I think there's an advantage to be built there. But one thing you guys do, which is interesting, at the floor, there's a shot going in here. Man, I can't believe that.
This is... man, that is some entertaining flying. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm enjoying these fights today.
I had to be quiet just to watch that.
Me too, dude. I just went quiet for a moment because I just wanted to see what was going to happen. I'm with you on that one. All right, so let's see this. This is super interesting now because instead of actually committing to the 2 circle, Dylan's actually ducked under and he's gone 1 circle. And we know Slobbish is super aggressive, but this is some serious commitment here.
Oh, they both just floor saved and barely stop themselves. So we're at the floor. So what happens, that's interesting for me right here, when you get to the rate fight in the floor, people will still take it up. And that's something you would never see at the floor, real life, because of the missile thing. So you just have so many options when you're just working with the gun. You can really be creative and do different things with your energy states. Because this fight's now going uphill again. Check it out. We're already back up to 5,000 feet.
But this is not looking good for the flanker, I'll be honest. You know, Dylan already has lead. So if he gets this nose down, the nose is already in the right place. And look at that, the wing comes off, man. Slobish pays the price for that. That was an amazing decision by Dylan in one circle over the top there, with where that nose was pointing. That was some good foresight by him. I have to be, you know, mad kudos. That was some really good flying by Dylan there.
Well, and he pinned him, didn't he? He pinned him down, because what was happening before that is the Sioux had the altitude to dump its nose a little bit, keep some of the range, and then collapse it. There was no option for that anymore. He basically had the floor. He was stuffed between the floor and the Hornet, and he paid the price.
Now, I'm not sure, Stream, why we're getting the ground stutters there. I'm not seeing that on my screen, so that has to be something to do with OBS. But we'll look into that for the next BFM tournament. I'm really sorry about that. I can see what you guys are talking about now, and I'm not seeing that on my monitor. I'm looking at 175 FPS on my screen right now. So, yeah, that's a bit odd to me. I'll go and talk to some guys after the stream and see if we can get that one worked out for next time. But anyway, to wrap that one up, Dylan 2-0 against Slobish there. Sorry, Slobish, that didn't work out for you. But, you know, Dylan going to work in the Hornet. So now we got, who's the guy who's getting the free ride? It looks like Pixie's getting a bye through to the next round. So
all right.
Pixie's on a bye. And so through to round 2, we have Play School, Chop, Cinemass, and Pixie. So we actually don't know what Pixie's going to be taking into the fight here. I'm expecting an Eagle, but let's see. But basically 2 Hornets through, an F-16, and an Eagle so far.
All right, who do you like out of those then? We got 4 left, is that right?
Man, I can't pick favorites. I run the clinic, dude. I can't pick favorites. That's not allowed.
I think the Hornets. I think the Hornet, man. I think who's flying the Hornet again?
Well, there are 2 Hornets. We got Chop and we got Dylan. Yeah.
Oh, I think from what I've seen, Dylan seems to be on his game today.
Spaceman's AWOL. Okay. So what? Pixie's on a bye then, is he? Is that what's happening, Hummingbird? Just type in chat to me. Well, you know, the thing is, Dylan, he's a Mirage pilot, and I have to be honest, the way I saw him fly that Mirage towards the end of, fly that Hornet towards the end of that last round, it really did smell of Mirage flying. You know, he was thinking ahead with where he needed his nose to be, and then all he had to do, instead of actually pull that nose around for the shot and spend energy doing that, one circle over the top, the nose was already in the right spot. He just needed the nose to come back down, and the guy was there. You know, and that is Mirage flying in a lot of ways.
So you're in this competition. What's your strategy, man? Do you switch planes now?
No.
Try to throw people off? You don't switch planes?
I wouldn't, no, but I've got my own reasons for doing that, and that's the R3 FSSB. You know, I'm...
yeah.
You know, that force sensing stick kind of limits me now in terms of, like, if I'm in a competitive setting, for me it's either going to be the Mirage or the Mirage, because that stick is gold with the Mirage. It's good with the Viper, it's amazing with the Viper, but where it really starts to suck is in the Hornet and the Tomcat. Once things start getting wallowy there, you know, that R3 with the direct inputs and having to, you know, and I've said this a few times in streams, guys that are on my channel regularly have probably heard me say this too much, but having to, you know, push, you know, 4.5 pounds forward to bunt and then get back on a pull at 4.5 pounds aft for these large control surface movements, and then 2.5 pounds left, 2.5 pounds right. You know, man, it gets fatiguing, especially. And then the other problem you've got is in the wallowy jets, the jet doesn't respond the way you want, so you're very prone to over controlling. And you know, say you want to roll to like 40 degrees angle of bank, you end up rolling to 60 or 70. Man, that can be decisive right there. You know, you don't want to roll to 70 at the wrong time. You know, and so. Can it be overcome? I think maybe with time and with some experience in the Hornet with the R3 FSSB, yes, I will be able to adapt better to those situations. But you know, the really strong BFM pilots like Ace, you know, Sung Ho there, who took out Folds of Honor, in the Hornet, man. And kudos to him with that HE limit and being able to do that. He swaps out sticks, so if he might use the R3FSSB for the Mirage or for a Viper, and then he'll swap out to a VKB Gunfighter Mark III when it's time to fly the Hornet or the Tomcat, you know, and right tool for the job, right?
That's dedication right there. So you know these guys a little bit. Are any of them going to switch though? I'm curious if there's maybe some psychology there. People saw him fly the Hornet first, and hey, you know what? I'm going to switch to a Mirage, for example. We haven't seen a Mirage.
Great point. Well, I think the two guys who are most likely to do that in this competition will be Pixie67 and Dylan. You know, Dylan, I have a feeling that when things heat up and the rubber needs to hit the road, we'll see him jump into that Mirage. And Pixie67, again, same. If he's in that same situation and he really needs to get rounds connecting with soft fleshy bodies, then we're going to probably see him jump into an Eagle. So,
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that kind of Schwantz measuring thing of, you know what, I beat somebody in this airplane. Now I'm gonna beat someone in this other airplane.
Hey, thanks Malta for the heart, man. Yeah, thanks for joining us here. So we are, just to sum up for guys just joining the stream here, we finished the first round. Play School got through in the Eagle, Chop got through in the Hornet, Cinemass threw in a Viper of all things, Dylan threw in a Hornet, which we weren't expecting to see Dylan in a Hornet, and Pixie got through on a buy. So Hummingbird has just said in chat that Lawn Dart is going to stand in for Spaceman. What does that mean, Hummingbird? Does that mean that we're going to see Pixie fight against Lawn Dart now in the last bracket of the first round? Is that what's happening?
That's one of the things you deal with when you're doing these online things. You know, people got lives, other things going on, so sometimes people fall out. You just got to be really flexible with it all.
Okay, so Hummingbird's just, yeah, absolutely agreed. Hummingbird's just come back with an A firm on that. So we are about to see Pixie67 face off against Lawn Dart. What are we doing, though, Hummingbird, if Lawn Dart wins here? Because Lawn Dart got knocked out earlier by Chop, I believe. Are we throwing Lawn Dart a lifeline here? If he beats Pixie, is he getting a second go at things? Is that what you're doing?
Did he phone a friend? What's going on here?
Yeah, what is this? A 50-50? Well, that can't be right. What is this? Okay, so Lawn Dart's just playing red air against Pixie67. All right, so we're throwing Pixie67 some bait. Let's see it.
Are you saying Pixie67 can lose and still move forward? Is that what? No.
Well, I mean, if he's going to get the bye, we may as well get some entertainment out of it, right?
Okay, good enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see it. So if Lawn Dart wins, Pixie67 still goes through. Oh man, I told you this was going to be emotional. You know, this is our first go doing this.
He needs to fly an A10 or something. We need to see something fun here.
Or a Harrier.
Yeah.
So tell me, Guido, I have to ask. You faced off against the Mirage in DCS a few times now. Initial impressions?
I think it's a little better in DCS than it really is. Those big Delta wings have a hard time getting their energy back, and it really gets its energy back well in DCS. That being said, in DCS, it's impressive, man. That thing will pointy. I'm like, quit pointing at me. Stop it.
Oh yeah, that jet, man. It's a UFO. There's no two questions about that. And as you say, the fact that it can get knots back on, not that much slower than a Viper, you know, questionable, right?
That's what I beat. The one round I won in the tournament for Folds, I beat a pointy Mirage 2000, but I did it in the Eagle with rate fighting. So he was able to get me on one pointy, and then I beat him twice in the rate fights. Yeah. So that worked out. Just as long as because they're going to have a couple opportunities to come across circle and try to punish you. You got to tighten down, force their nose off, and hopefully they don't get out in front and kill you. But if you can do that a couple times, collapse it to a 3,000-foot circle in the Eagle, you're eventually going to win that rate fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean that's what you'd expect, right? The Eagle to just crush a Mirage in a two-circle. All right, so look at this. We've got another Viper v Viper fight here. Pixie 67. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's roll them, Hummingbird. Send it.
They're in the air. Yep, we got Pixie. We got Pixie and Lawn Dart. Lawn Dart in a Lawn Dart. That's well done.
All right, let's roll with Pixie here. Coming into the merge in the F4 view, one of my favorite views. F5 now, and away we go. What's Pixie doing? A bleak vertical here, 2 circle.
So again, Lawn Dart makes a bit away and then comes back in. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. That's very strange, actually. Unless he's just trying to avoid not hitting.
He had a bit of separation there as well. I mean, one of those guys couldn't use that turning room at merge, but quite neutral at the moment. If anything, it looks like Lawn Dart's getting pointier here.
What is Pixie coming down now?
Yeah, Pixie's on the way down, and Lawn Dart already got some angles. But it'll be interesting to see once the circles the line here, canopy to canopy. That is quite neutral. So
Pixie has almost 100 more knots right now. Yeah, and slightly above, so he's got the energy advantage. Let's see what happens as far as using it goes. This is a pretty classic 2-circle looking fight right here, actually, right now.
Yeah.
You're just looking across the canopy at the other guy, kind of keeping your lift vector right below the other one, maybe slightly above, depending on what you're trying to do there.
Now, something I see a lot of guys do in the Viper, and I do it myself, is we bring up the fuel in the HUD in the Viper. You've got that ability to replicate the DED in the HUD. Alternatively, you could just keep the fuel flow, the fuel burn, or sorry, I should say the fuel remaining up on the DED, and it's just good for SA. You know,
what's the fuel status of each jet? Was that thought about? Is there a certain weight?
Yeah, we basically tried to replicate similar timing afterburner, very similar to what they did in Folds of Honor.
Or just timing, okay. So regardless of 2 engines or 1, you have a similar time and max.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because you've got some DCS-isms, like the Hornet is well known for burning too little fuel in full burner. So we had to reduce the fuel load on the Hornet quite a bit. But, I mean, it does play out in other ways though, right? When you do that. So.
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Pixie is flying a higher rate. Watch his angles. He's actually winning this rate fight right now. This is fantastic. You can see the angles for him decreasing, and he's going to go here. He's going to go outside the back end of the other Viper's turn circle right about here. So he needs to stop pulling here, and that's what he's doing, man. He's just raging at 450, and the other Viper is sitting. Oh, he's got his energy back. No, the other Viper's at 390.
390, that is going to be telling. Pixie's just going to use that extra speed to march around the circle here, and that's exactly what he's doing. A little bit of a deck save from Lawn Dart. That's going to cost him some angles as well, and we can see that playing out right now.
Yeah, I wonder if he was looking backwards, because that's how you go through the floor. You're padlocked to the other guy, and you miss that you're not cross-checking forward, and you miss your about to go through. Oh, look at this. This is the danger. He's going to try to translate this into a gunshot, and without overshooting, he's got a lot of smash here. Oh, man, he's going to overshoot. Nope. Power modulation, well done. And he's back into AP, I think, right here. Here we go, yep.
Oh, and he takes the wing there.
Oh, man.
Oh, melts him, man. Pixie is not messing around. You know, we were going to give Pixie a bye, but he's paying his way.
Oh, man, Lawn Dart. He just lost the rate fight, Blow. He lost the rate fight.
Yep. Yeah, we saw that extra 60 knots there was a little bit... It was savage, wasn't it, Supersonic Banana? I mean...
For you guys that are watching this and trying to learn, that was a great one for a very calm and collected 2-circle rate fight. That's what it looks like. That was good stuff.
All right, we got the guys back in the jets now. Let's ride with Lawn Dart here. You know, I mean, we saw Lawn Dart get back to neutral at the merge, and then once he got onto the deck, it all started to unravel fairly fast, didn't it? And I think it was just because he got a bit too slow in that 2-circle fight. Simple as that.
Yeah, what he needed to do was unload and just accept that he's going to lose a few angles and get himself to 420 and try to work it back from there. What is the best rate fight in the Viper for DCS? Is it about 420?
No, it's a bit higher than that. 440 to 480. Yeah.
Okay. Looks like we've got someone's over. We got Pixie over the top. We got Lawn Dart coming up with him. Pixie's coming down low. We're gonna have another merge. That was a fairly neutral merge. We got 386 knots.
Now Hummingbird, I'll tell you a little bit about Hummingbird. He loves looking at EM diagrams. That's his bag, you know. And he compared the DCS Viper. He plotted it against the EM diagrams of the Real Block 50. And what he found was that it was underperforming below 0.45 mark. Above 0.45 mark, performance was plus or minus 5% on the real jet. So
And that's Pixie, you said, that likes doing that?
No, that's Hummingbird.
Hummingbird, sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't have a life.
We talked a lot about that, looking at EM diagrams and trying to determine. But you know, when you're flying, it's more this, right? You have a general idea of what corner velocity is and the best rate. It clearly changes for altitudes, but you don't have time to do those calculations, so it's something close. Look at this. We have another situation here. Look at that. We've got an advantage now. Lawn Dart is hurting a little bit right here.
Pixie just keeping that energy state nice and high and biding his time. You know, he's just letting the rate war play out, isn't he? He's not in that much of a rush, to be honest. And now this is, you know, look at that nose coming around. This is the plan form change you're talking about, right? You know, he's not here, and that's pulling for a shot almost there. It looked like. Let's go right with Pixie here.
I think he just accepted that overshoot. I don't think he really pulled. But look, okay, now we're going to change it to the vertical because we had a situation where Pixie was running out of altitude below him, and I had to take it up into the air. All right.
So Pixie's still at 420 knots. He's not selling it. He's not selling his soul for the shot here. You know, if you want to characterize the man in any way, that's the way I'd say it. If he's going to pull for the shot, you know, he's pretty certain that he's going to connect. And you know, where I would expect Pixie to do that is exactly what we're seeing here. Once the Bandit's up and above him and has bled back a little bit potentially, you know, and we saw that before as well. Once the Bandit was above Pixie, he started to pull for that shot, and he landed them.
Except that Lawn Dart's doing 600 knots right now.
Yeah, Pixie already up to 550 himself here.
See, and that's the thing. Pixie has the luxury of cutting across the circle, and just because he's a little slower doesn't hurt him because Lawn Dart has to keep turning.
Now, good point. I'd like to touch on there. Did you see that once Lawn Dart reversed, Pixie was in no hurry to start getting pointy. He actually rolled off and went into lag and created a little bit of turning room, melts him there. But just that going into lag and creating that little bit of displacement and for a little tiny bit of turn circle entry, just preserving that offensive advantage. That way of thinking, guys that are new to BFM, you don't see them think like that. You know, that comes through experience, you know, in the game. And Pixie just putting that turn circle entry to good use there to stay offensive on Lawn Dart. So well done.
I mean, when you're doing 500, 600 knots, your turn circle is not very tight. And the guy behind you, say this is the guy that head's doing 600, the guy behind you can be doing 500 and 550 because all he has to do is carve across the inside of the circle. That will keep the range. He's faster, but he's got a shorter distance. So he can just herd that guy around and stay there all day long.
Yeah, man. So Pixie threw in a Viper. All right. Let's just keep the show rolling. I mean, I've got my water here. I'm good. How are you going over there, Guido?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
You want some laksa or something?
What is that? What are you talking about?
Oh, it's like a soup. It's like a Malaysian curry soup, and it's got noodles in it, and they put prawns in it, tofu.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's got like a sort of satay peanutty flavor to it. It's delicious, dude.
That sounds like a fantastic Sunday afternoon meal right there.
Oh yeah, yeah, and good. It's quite spicy as well, so to warm you up during winter. I mean, you should. What are you going to do? Get off the stream and go and look up a Malaysian restaurant for dinner?
I'll tell you what, man. I may go for some Thai. I'm feeling it right now. Play School looks like it's ready.
All right, let's have it. Now, Play School. I love watching Play School fly. Background on Play School, flew Rafales in the French Marines in real life. He's a skydiver. He wingsuits, man. I actually went and I don't tell much, or many of you guys this, but I've done a little bit of skydiving. I've got 164 jumps, and I went wingsuiting in France for the first time. I didn't get to wingsuit with Play School. He's a lot more experienced wingsuiter than me. I only did one wingsuit jump in my entire life, but the thing is, you have to have like 150 skydives before they let you put a wingsuit on. And yeah, so I went and did that for the first time. But you should go and check Play School out on YouTube. He's got quite a few videos of him wingsuiting.
That's kind of stuff right there, man. That is some crazy stuff. Yeah,
the big ones, man. Not the little, little tiny squirrel suits. Like, he's the real deal. Those big, massive wingsuits, they must be pretty hard to control, I'd imagine.
All right, what's Chop doing? He just took a big bid down right here.
I'm not sure what's going on with that. Looks like Play School's jumped out of his jet.
Maybe they weren't ready. I don't know. Looks like they're resetting. Maybe they passed each other before they both got in there and going.
Yeah.
What was it set for? 10 miles? Is that right?
10 miles in the merge, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're resetting. Yeah, the wingsuit thing is pretty fantastic though, especially the crazy ones. You see one of these guys that's going right over the mountain as they head down the hill, and
oh yeah, the proximity flying, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the past few years, from what I understand, there's been quite a few fatalities in the sport of proximity wingsuit flying at the highest level, you know, and I think part of the reason I was reading an article on it, I think part of the reason is that they're just trying to one-up themselves all the time, you know. The closer these guys fly to the ground, the next guy has to fly closer to make it more impressive, and, you know,
yeah,
you can only do that for so long, right, before that becomes a road to nowhere.
I think part of the reason is it's freaking insane.
Well, yeah.
It is cool to watch. Now this is.
Has the stream frozen there? Oh no, we're good.
Oh no, we just merged at like 5,000 feet.
Now look at this. This is what I'm talking about, dude. Play school. Yeah. One circle in the vertical at the merge. Look at that alpha spike. Super aggressive, man. He doesn't want to be in this thing for anything more than 90 seconds. He wants it over now. Check it out.
Oh, look at the nose just coming through. Nicely done. He just sticking what we call sticking the seat pan to track his nose. Did you see how fast the nose came off though? Because it's going to get that instantaneous. And then he's got to come off because he'll hang up in AOA. He's already hit him.
Melted, dude. How long did that fight last? Much less than 90 seconds, right?
I don't know, man.
That was not a minute and a half right there, I don't think. Holy crap. Play school just throwing it down. He's like, okay, you want to do some BFM? Okay, bye. I'm going to lunch.
I have no idea what just happened there.
He just like went one circle vertical off the merge, took a flaperon off straight away, and then just pulled for angles. Alpha spiked him to death, dude, with that golden gun. 900 rounds of Carlos action. Although you can't call it Carlos if it's less than a mile and a half. So
what he did too, dude, is if you notice, he was actually below the F-18. That was exclusive turning room he could use as he came up because the F-18 tried to go up with him. That distance is turning room that the Eagle had, and that's how he got in behind him. The F-18 had to not allow him to have that exclusive turning room if we're going to go single circle. Exclusive turning room single circle is a killer because you're turning inside the other guy's circle, and they can't do much about it.
Yeah, we talk about that OODA loop, right, from shore, observe, orientate, decide, and act here, and you can see that in the way that Play School flies, that he is forcing the initiative onto the other guy at every turn. I mean, nearly a collision there. You know, how was that for the bubble there in the Eagle, Guido? Did that just make you stand up and take notice?
That would have been a knock it off, but I like what Chop did. Did you see him come down and not give Play School the turning room? He did that. That kept him from having the same thing happen, but look at this. He's behind him already.
World of hurt here. You know, that Hornet is in a world of trouble, man. Already out in lead, putting the rounds down range. A little bit of warping going on at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that. But ooh, man, you gotta hate that. But he's still back there.
Oh my god. This Hornet's not going to stay in this game for too much longer, I don't think. And the fact that the Eagle could do this really surprised me initially when I started BFMing. You know, to see that massive aeroplane, look at that, melts the wing off. I mean,
wow.
You're the Eagle pilot, Guido. Is that realistic? Can the Eagle really do that?
All right, I'll say what I've been saying the whole time. All of the jets overperform a little bit, but it can do that kind of thing. To exactly that extent, probably not. But that instantaneous rate that the Eagle has is impressive. You will get that nose rate, and it's pretty cool how it is modeled, because you saw the nose spike and it'll kind of immediately come off because you can't hold that. It's not going to keep doing that, and then you see what we call break the AOA and get the jet flying again. So control surfaces can do something. I stalled the wing and I've got to come off and get the wing flying again.
So you were talking the other day or last night when we were running the stream and the guys were asking the questions. You mentioned that the horizontal stabs on the Eagle are as big as a T-38 wing. Is that right?
That's right. They're massive.
I mean, what more needs to be said? You know?
And that's a big reason why it's got that nose authority. Those great big old stabs out there, those things dig in and it freaking goes, man.
And I'm sure some guys in chat are interested to hear about this, but adverse effects, you know, when you're getting into these dynamic slow speed fights, you know, big jet like the Eagle, you know, big control inputs. How is that jet responding to you? Is it a fight to get it to do what you want, or is it pretty docile, well behaved, and predictable?
Well, it's interesting. The Eagle can be very maneuverable, but it's a little bit more like a Cadillac with power steering than maybe a Ferrari. So I bet the I keep forgetting, is it the PL? What is it you flew? The
PC-9.
PC-9 is probably pretty agile, right? You put an input in, it goes, right?
Yeah, pretty agile. Yeah, not too bad. But again, it's a basic trainer, right? So you do get those secondary flight control effects, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and the same thing in the T-38. You move the stick, and it just, you can ratchet. The Eagle is a little bit more like stirring the stick. I mean, it's very docile in standard flying, but if you fly it right, it can be quite maneuverable. And some of it is, and I don't know how much you guys use the rudder, but the Eagle rudder can add a really interesting dynamic to snap rolls and pirouettes, slow speed flying, and all that stuff. So the rudders are effective in a lot of regimes that you might think they aren't.
So using your feet a lot during the flat scissors and
slow speed especially, absolutely.
Yeah. What about in the rollers? And how hard is it to fly that roller in real life? I mean, you got your head back there. I mean, is that quite physical?
Rollers are fine because they're not usually high G.
Okay, yeah.
You're just looking at the top of the canopy, and you're both just kind of slowly going downhill. The painful one is any kind of rate fight where you're losing. So you're holding a lot of G and you're looking back there. That hurts.
Yeah. And you get a lot of guys with neck problems afterwards, around 2,000 hour mark?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd rather have the Bandit here if you're pulling G than back there.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, are you ever leaning your helmet back on the canopy to kind of stabilize it, or you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of techniques. Each pilot's a little bit different. It kind of depends on how they're built too. You know, some guys are like a damn owl, and their head turns all the way around. Then you get the big neck guys. I had this guy's fantastic dude. He was one of my students. He was this big old black guy. He was a huge dude. We called it Champ because he looked like one of the champ. I can't remember which boxer it is. It'll come to me in a minute, but we called him Champ. And he couldn't turn. He could not. I mean, when you said look behind you, he'd go like this. Just because he was a massive dude.
Wait, I have to wait for the stream to catch up so I can see what you just did. I'll probably go and watch the VOD afterwards to see that. But look, we got a Viper v Viper fight. So Dylan has switched out from the Hornet in the first round. We were talking about this before. You asked me which of these guys is likely to switch out, and Dylan has switched out, which I predicted, but he switched out to something I did not expect, which is the Viper. So, you know, I think he's looking at what Cinemass is flying, and he's basing his decisions off that. I have to be honest.
I like it, man.
One circle in the vertical here. You know, Dylan already getting some angles back through the horizon, and Cinemass taking two. He's already slow. You know, I don't.
He is, yeah. Oh, this is a bit of a problem for Dylan. He's going to have a different plan because he's out of knots and out of ideas right here.
Right, and we've seen Cinemass commit to the vertical before and get that exclusive turning room, like you phrase it here, and he's still committed to the vertical. He's just building that lateral separation in the vertical, and or vertical separation, I should say. And now the nose comes back, and the angles are starting to happen here. You know, let's see how fast he can get the knots back on the jet. And if I was in Cinemass's position right now, my main concern would be not getting flushed out beneath Dylan, but Dylan's already got that nose back down, so that is not a concern for Cinemass. But there can be some situations where the other guy is still staying level and building those knots, and you're slow, and you end up getting flushed out beneath his plane of motion in that two circle, and then you are in trouble because he's got vertical turning room on you.
I think Cinemass waited too long. He let Dylan have a lot of range and get a bunch of airspeed back, and while he's offensive, I think he could have pirouetted much faster and been in Dylan's chili. But we'll see what happens. He's still in the driver's seat, but Dylan's got his knots back, doesn't he?
Cinemass already as well. He's already fast. 470 here with all the angles. It is Cinemass's fight to lose. And the thing I'll say about Cinemass is he is not afraid to go one circle in that Viper. So when things start getting slow, you know, that's going to be, I have to be honest, that's probably getting into Cinemass's world a little bit in the Viper. Man, I'm gonna say, Dylan is one hell of a Mirage pilot. So let's not discount him. And who knows, if he's been spending some time in that Viper recently, maybe he's figured out how to translate his Mirage flying into Viper flying.
Yeah, he got a little warping there, but we've still got center mass right behind Dylan, and now we've run out of room. Although they've got knots, so this could go back into the vertical there pretty easily. Dylan's just trying to survive and maybe overshoot.
Trying to force the overshoot. I don't know. Well.
Oh no!
Oh, almost hits the ground. Center mass 1-0. I mean, mate, you wouldn't expect to see this in the real world, would you? It's a little bit different.
Well, we have floor saves, but that's why we set them at 5,000, so we don't hit the edge of the air, which is characterized by trees, buildings, and the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some crazy stuff there.
You see that though, actually, as fights get down to the floor, you see guys take gunshots, and then one will go through the floor, maybe he wallows through it because he's out of airspeed. The other one does the floor save, that flat plate, wings level flat plate, to not go through the floor because that counts as a kill. So you try to go through the floor.
Now, when the Yugo gets slow in DCS below, say 250, it turns into a bit of a brick, and it becomes. I mean, you've probably seen that. I mean, you've flown the Eagle a lot now in DCS, right? So. Thoughts on or comparisons to the real jet in that regard?
That's pretty similar. I mean, it has control authority to fly, but yes, you get wallowy, as you guys have said, and that's 100% correct. That's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you flat plate to the ground the other night with that, and is that how you would expect the real jet to behave in certain aspects?
Yep. And you just need the altitude to break the AOA and get flying again. And I didn't have it, so even if I'd have broken the AOA, I'd come right in the ground anyway.
Just that inertia, just going downwards with that vector, right?
Yeah. The vector is down, even though you're flying like this. You're not flying. You're just falling out of the sky.
Yeah. Now let's look at this fight. Center mass. He's already slow. 190. Dylan above him. And Dylan desperately trying to get that nose back down through the horizon so he can get the knots back on the jet and get a bit of initiative going here. Let's go and ride with Dylan. I want to see it from his perspective. Now center mass up over the top here. Committing to this vertical again, But the thing is, Dylan's back at 94 knots. I think here he really needs to just unload aggressively and get the knots back on the jet and get some options. But if he's going to...
Yeah, he just beat him in the vertical again. He just got higher, and now he's got all this exclusive room up here to do what he wants.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Although we still have some angles here, though, don't we? Wait a minute, what is center mass doing? Is he flying level? He is flying level.
No, he's down. He's building slowly through 200 knots
finally,
now.
Okay.
Now let's see if Dylan tries to force the overshoot in the vertical here. No, Dylan's on the way back up.
I don't understand that. He just gave all kinds of room to Dylan. Wow. I mean, when you reverse turns, that's not
man.
good.
I have to be honest. Looking back when Dylan was slow like that, that was center mass's opportunity. He should have. I don't want to say should, but he could have looked at that situation a little bit differently and said, the dude's not getting his nose down fast enough and building his energy state. I've got all this potential energy above him here, as you say, to just to get some angles back. And I don't feel like he maybe capitalized on that as well as he should. But right now, going for the shots and putting some shots on center mass. I mean, here we go. This is the vertical one circle I've been talking about from center mass. Did you see that? That's the type of situation he tries to engineer all the time. And the thing is, it's not good. I don't think it's going to quite pay off for him here. Dylan reversing over the top one circle.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, maybe that was just a 200 IQ move right there. It didn't make sense to me at the time, but he actually did something with it.
Well, also, I mean, center mass is now missing his leading edge control surface there, taking more hits. That Viper is quite sad and sorry. Oh man.
Yeah, that looks like there's no bird stab. He has no yaw authority, so it's just going to flop around.
Dylan bringing the pain on a very experienced BMS guy, and I'm just laughing to myself here at the at center mass's Viper. It's missing the vertical stab, and for a moment there we saw the decal of the 30, the tail number, still visible up against nothing. So that was funny. Did you see that?
Yeah, and you got the flames that come off the wings that aren't there. That goes on too.
Yeah.
So nicely done by Dylan with the win there.
Oh wow! I mean, there you go. You don't know what's gonna happen in BFM, do you? You just can't predict it.
Changes jets and exerts dominance in 2 different aircraft. Now I'm hoping to see a third one out of it.
Man, I tell you, Dylan, you know, he is a fearsome pilot. You know.
I want to see him get in the angry wedge and win this thing in the angry wedge. But here we go. Looks like another merge coming up. Rubber match, man. It's interesting that only the one fight has changed the merge altitude at all. Everybody else has accepted about 15,000.
Yeah. Vertical one circle here, and Dylan's already above him. Let's see how pointy center mass gets. You know, it's all about energy management at this point. I mean, you know, if it was Fox 2s, you just want to get the high off bore side shot off the rail, right? But guns a little bit different here. You know, different considerations.
That was a much more even fight into the vertical, although we have slightly higher center mass.
Man, did he hit him? He's hit him. He's connected with that. Center mass is already damaged.
Oh, that was amazing. And they had enough to go back up again, and that's incredible. So we've got 170 knots for center mass. He's slightly higher.
Now check this out. If center mass commits to this vertical and gets a little bit of exclusive turning room, and Dylan's struggling to get the nose up, this could really play well. But center mass bringing out the nose already back down and going for a head-on. It looks like Dylan. I think he's out of knots. I don't think he can get the nose up. Let's check it out.
Yeah, he is out of knots. Look at that. Yep, so is he going to be able to center mass transition?
Center mass, well, here we go. He's got that nose back down. And, you know, good move by Dylan to get that nose back up and get above him here. You know, you can see center mass hasn't fully unloaded yet. He's back at 190 knots here. And Dylan trying to take the room out of the fight. You seeing this?
Yeah. And center mass was not going to unload. He was going to keep the distance collapsed. And he wants to lead over top. Look at this. Oh, no respect lead turn. That's nicely done. Puts him right in the driver's seat. Well done.
Yep.
Well done. There was nothing Dylan could do about that no respect lead turn right there.
Yep.
That was fantastic.
I mean, that's OODA loop flying right there, isn't it? He's just taking the initiative in the fight. You know, he's saying, okay, I see where you are, see where you're going, and this is what I'm going to do about it.
So that's what you can do in the vertical. Flatten that out to horizontal. You never take that much lead turn because the other guy just reverses. But in the vertical, he didn't have a chance to reverse. You can't just turn and go straight up again with no airspeed. Yeah,
now I don't think the damage that center mass has on his jet right now is going to be too influential. It looks like he's flying like a normal Viper. So, you know, how credible that is, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you know, if you'd been hit by a bunch of 20 Mike in real life, what do you think would be happening to that Viper right now, Guido? Would it be just happy days?
It depends on what it hit, man. If it just went through a wing and didn't hit anything, didn't get any hydraulics or knock any electric out or hurt the engine, who knows?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's not. I don't know how many rounds did it say. Does it say how many? Doesn't really say, does it?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell. But I will say one thing about the damage modeling on the Viper. You know, he's been hit by 20 Mike, and all those little holes look like BB gun holes. You know, they need to do something about that because I'm pretty sure 20 Mike holes are a fair bit larger than that. So hopefully ED fixed that at some point. Look, this is Cinemat's getting some. Dylan getting some angles back here in the 2 circle. You seeing this?
Yeah. Looks like he's starting to pull away on him a little bit. There's the high yo-yo. You can buffoon the high yo-yo and guys just fly it better. Although it looks like center mass is carving across the inside of the circle. He's still at 450. And we've got Dylan at 480, so it's still pretty even energy-wise. But it looks like center mass still has a really nice angular advantage right here. Yeah, look at this. It's just starting to rage around center mass. You can see, again, we're into this 2-circle rate fight. You can see center mass start to just march around the turn circle, reeling him in. They're basically on the same circle right here. It looks like Dylan gets really close to the ground. And he's going to start doing some yo-yo action, looks like.
I'll say this for the guys in the stream. I've just been having a think about why what you're seeing in the stream is different to what I'm seeing on my monitor. And I'm viewing DCS on my monitor on an ultra-wide, 3440 by 1440, and the stream is running at just full HD, 1920 by 1080, and I haven't resized what's in DCS for OBS. So I think for next week when we do this, I'm actually going to output DCS at just full HD, 1920 by 1080, and then send that to OBS, and I think that's going to smooth everything out for you guys. But I think OBS trying to like crunch full ultra wide resolution right now is probably causing that that stutter that you're seeing. So apologies for that. That's something that we'll smooth out for the next stream, and I'll make a note of that here now.
Low blow, do you think we're going to have our first fight with maybe some fuel issues here?
Possibly.
Yeah.
And the thing is with the Viper as well, I don't know if you know this, Guido, but once it runs out of fuel, the gun doesn't work anymore.
Oh, there you go.
Is that a real thing, dude? Oh, it's a good... Oh, Cinemass has gone in.
You need hydraulics and electricity. You need hydraulics and electricity. Once the engine stops spinning enough, won't have enough hydraulics to turn the Gatling gun.
So there you go. So that's legit. All right, so Dylan goes 2-0 against Cinemass through to the third round. So far we've got Play School through and Dylan is the chameleon of the competition. He is not afraid to switch it up and jump into a jet just to meet his opponent if he thinks it's going to be advantageous for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Dylan jump into a Mirage at some point in this comp as well.
That was anticlimactic. The old scrape off of the floor, man.
Yeah.
Well done, though, man. You got to watch the floor. You know, the PK of the ground is near 1.0.
Now, Supersonic Banana has said he thinks it's a bitrate issue. Now, I'm outputting at 5,000 here, Supersonic Banana. What can I do to improve that? Should I drop that to 4,000 or up it to 6,000? Which way am I going to go? And I don't know, can I do it in real time without affecting the stream? That's the next question. Let me just check here.
Yeah, it could be Twitch dropping frames.
No, it says drop frames 0%.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I guess I could cap DCS at 60 FPS because that's what OBS is outputting at the moment. Anyway, I'll let you guys brainstorm it. I've got my idea of what might be happening, and that's maybe OBS just isn't dealing very well with the 3440 by 1440 to full HD conversion, which actually there's no conversion at the moment. What do we got now?
Merged. Eagle versus Eagle. Play School and Pixie, both in Eagles, diving for the floor. And it looks like Play School got lower, and he's doing that low to high thing.
There you go. He's got a lead turn right there because he got below him by a couple hundred feet.
Room.
Check that out.
Inside. He's
super
inside. Yeah.
I mean, this is the one thing I'm going to say. If you go up against Play School and he goes low like that, match him, or try to get beneath him. Don't just stay above him, because what's going to happen is prior to the merge, he's going to start lead turning you in the vertical and getting all those angles. And I mean,
you can't give away turning room like that. But this is interesting. Now he's just going to carve across the inside right here. He's going to go for a point, isn't he? Although he's really fast. He's going to struggle to get a lot of G out of this because he's so fast. It looks like he's maybe trying to convert that into vertical again. Yep, here we go. Back up at 500 knots.
Now, Play School, man, he's an extremely experienced virtual Eagle pilot. Flew to Rafales in the French Marines in real life. He's
look at that.
Melted him there,
It is over, maybe. I don't know. We still flying
67. I mean, the fact that this speaks volumes to Play School, right? Pixie 67 is an experienced Eagle driver in DCS, and he's just like, Play School has made him look like it's his first day at school,
Wait a minute. Play School just took a shot. Is he still in? Oh, he's shooting the ground. Okay, he's flying around with one vertical stabilizer.
Yeah, but it's the Eagle, right? I mean,
everything's on fire. He's still got 2 AB cooking.
We were talking about this last night. You said to me, about the damage mine. Said, "Well, it's an Eagle. It can do whatever it wants. It doesn't care."
Yeah. Yes. I guess he's still in the fight. I mean, we're still fighting. So here we go. And if he pulls this off against Play School, that Play School's just. I don't think he's got a lot of engine ability. Yeah, he's going to get shot here. It looks like he's just going to come in and. Nope, he's still fighting. Look at this. He's not giving up. He speed breaks out for Play School. Just trying to line up. He hits him a couple more times. He's still not dead.
So guys in the stream, what we might do is, if you want, I'm going to put up the splash screen. We can just hold off on having the next round after these guys, and then I'm going to resize and match up what DCS is outputting to what OBS wants in terms of full HD, and we'll see if that actually gives you guys a smoother experience there. But it's just going to mean I'm going to need like 3 or 4 minutes to get the actual the scene set up properly there. So yep, coming back, we said it was going to be emotional. It's our first time doing this, and there's lots of learning points out of this one. So just bear with us.
I'll tell you what. I thought Play School might actually hit him, trying to be uber aggressive shooting him, but we got another merge, and they're both going for the ground again.
Thanks for the follow there, Jay. Well, welcome, guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the BFM. We love it, man. We live for this stuff.
Play School's gone to the ground, and it looks like Pixie's done a better job of, yep, they're both going to meet at the floor. Look at that.
That's it. Pixie has definitely learned from the first merge, but look how aggressive Play School is in the pull in the one circle, mate. It's almost like he wants to get a Fox 2 off on the rail. He does not give two shits. He's pointing his nose, point like it's a Hornet, rounds down range like he's Carlos. Play School wants this fight over in the first 40 seconds. He does not care. He's not doing BFM for the sake of doing BFM here. It's just insane, man. The level of aggression. No, he doesn't care if it's pretty. He doesn't care if it's artistic. He just wants the fight over, and he wants to move on and go and have dinner. I mean, that's Play School in a nutshell, man.
Pixie had to match that and put Lift Vector on. He did this kind of rate fight, I'll take half thing, but meanwhile, like you said, Play School just wants to eat his lunch. And Pixie is just like, whatever, I don't know, I'll just hang out.
Yeah, Pixie's like, hey, let's do some beautiful circles in the sky for the next 5 minutes, entertain the viewers, and Play School's not having any of it. But hang on a second.
I don't know what just happened there. I think Play School lost his mind. He turned away and just let Pixie in. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play School is Falco? Remember in chat, Play School is Falco. Yeah, totally.
The tables have turned, my friends. Pixie is now in the driver's seat. Like you've said before, your term. It's his to lose right now.
His to lose. Yeah, there you go. And Pixie with that golden gun in the Eagle, man, he is a good shot. I'm just gonna put that out there. Here's my prediction: next 20-second, Play School, no wings left. Okay, let's see if let's see if that holds true.
Play School has put all his cards in this vertical move right here. He's at 320. We have Pixie at 280. They're even airspeed.
Yeah, this is not going to end well for Play School, I don't think.
Oh, here comes the shots. He's trying to make it
They've just run out of range there, but
yeah.
Play School still nose up, dude. And that's the thing. If Pixie lowers his nose and he gets a bit of energy back and starts to close that distance underneath Play School here, yeah, he's going to give up some angles, but he's always got the ability to possibly get the nose back up. But it looks like he still wants the point, so let's see if this is working out for him. 166 knots. He's committed.
Play School leveled off. Play School leveled off. He's trying to keep the altitude. Can Pixie get up to him? I don't think so. I don't think that's happening. He's going to fall off. He's going to have he actually got a shot. Holy cow, he did get a shot.
And look at this. He's got all the angles back now. I mean, this is... He needs to unload a bit and get the knots back on the jet here and just get good and fast and stay offensive. Because I think that if he stays on the pull here, the risk is that Play School's going to get some distance opened up and then be able to convert that to angles over the top as he pulls into this vertical 2 circle. Pixie at 430 knots. Play School unloads, reverses, gives him the tail in the 2 circle again. I don't know, man. Thoughts on this, Guido?
Yeah, I don't like it, but there's no shots coming in. They're both at 500 knots, so they're just raging. Just taking a nice big lead shot right there. I think they may be down pretty low on rounds here pretty soon. There's been quite a few shots. This is the most shots I think we've seen without somebody dying. And we may hit the ground. This is
okay, so this is bad. This is bad news. Play School reversing over the top 1 second, puts himself in front of...
That was quite a move, actually. That was incredible. And now we have Play School in the driver's seat again, and they're pinned to the floor. So there's no more room below them. Yeah,
that was a hit there. I think I saw a pump. Yep, I think Pixie's in trouble here. He's going to get melted. Okay. Yeah, man, there's an engine. Okay, and that's Play School. Oh God. Now, man, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you in real life, if you were that close to a guy, would you be putting 20 Mike down range, or would you hold off on that?
If he was obviously, you mean before I won? I mean, I'm still need to shoot him. Yeah, I'll shoot him if I have to. But
even that close, you're not worried about like debris going down your intakes or whatever.
Well, you are absolutely, but you got to get rid of him. I'd rather get rid of him and take the risk, maybe quarter plane out of the frag pattern or something like that.
All right.
Now, if he's already dying, I'm not going to go in and take another shot that close. No way.
Yeah, I got you. So play school through to the next round. Pixie is out. Hummingbird, just hold off on the next fight. I'm going to go and fix the stream here with regards to the resolution of DCS. Just bear with us, guys. We're going to throw up the other splash screen here.
Yep. And break right back, man.
No worries. Yeah, guys, think about some questions for Guido while he steps away. Put them in chat, and when we get a chance, we're going to work our way back through those questions. You know, it is amazing to have a real Eagle driver here, and you got Slick 1212 in chat there for F15s as well. He's got about 1,400 hours in the C model. Let's use the opportunity to put the questions to these guys. They have been extremely generous in saying that there's, with regards to BFM, what Guido and Slick have said is they're prepared to answer nearly 100% of our questions. The things that they might not be able to talk to, weapon engagement zones, ranges on Fox 2s, things like that. But let's use the chance while I fix the stream here with DCS to put it to them, guys. Cut loose. Yeah, Pixie. So, I'm not sure. Maybe it got lost in translation somewhere. But, thanks, Lev. Appreciate the comments, man. What I said to Hummingbird was, it has, and I posted this in the rules channel. I posted neutral merge, but energy states, as in knots, can change prior to the merge. And maybe what I wasn't clear enough on saying, but it has to be... ideally, what we'd like to see is a merge at 15,000 feet, but you can bring extra knots to the merge. So pretty much exactly what we saw in Folds of Honor. But diving for the deck pre-merge, we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to avoid that situation. But that's more on us. That's, as organizers of the comp, we should have communicated that in a better way. So sorry about that. Yeah, he definitely got some vertical turning room on you by getting underneath you and lead turning you on that merge there. We saw that, so yeah. So Guido stepped away, and I might step away here in a sec once I get this fixed. I've just resized DCS to 1920 by 1080, and let me just take a look at the OBS side of things. Now, yeah, apologies, guys. You know, it's not perfect. We've had some technical issues on this stream, and we're just trying to iron them out as we go. Like one I'm having right now, for example, and maybe someone can help me with this, is that I'm trying to set the resolution in DCS 1920 to 1080 and the aspect ratio to 16:9. But every time I do that, maybe I need to uncheck the full screen option. Is that it? And then try setting 16:9, or do I actually need to change my desktop resolution to 16:9, and then DCS is going to respond to that? Confusion reigns.
That's right. How many competitors we got left?
Guido, I asked these guys to put some questions to you in chat. If you wouldn't mind taking a read and seeing if there's anything that interests you there.
It's, so there's some things, some business as well. Pixie's looking for maybe a clarification on merge rules. I think that has to do with the dive into the floor. So that'll be an interesting discussion whether we keep it or not. It definitely made it a little more dynamic for those fights for sure. We are planning on, I don't know if every Sunday, we're still in discussions on exactly how often we're going to do this. So we'll have to take a look at it and how big it gets. That's between the boss man over there and DCS World Events. So look for more information on that as soon as we have it. There's definitely a nice crowd, as Slick says. And it looks like someone's looking forward to next week already. So we're already on the spot there, Low Blow.
Tickets are already on sale for next week. You can go and approach Guido. It's $10 for a bloody nose, $50 for a kick in the balls. Just go and bring cash over there, and he will sort you out for next week.
You know, I'll tell you, Slick is still in here. We talked a lot when we were flying about how cool it would be to have a BFM league. Now we were talking real world, but you know what? This is just as cool, and that's essentially what this is like a nascent BFM league idea. What a cool idea, man!
Okay, so I'm still trying to sort this out, guys. Put the questions to Guido while I fumble through my life here, trying to get this worked out.
So Hummingbird is answering in there. Slick says he's here. Blackhawk lives in Goldsboro by Seymour Johnson. That's okay. What are their main jets? Seymour is going to be E-models, I believe. I believe that's the E-model base. So they'll be Eagles, but they're going to be Mud Hens, what we call air-to-ground version. Pixie is lamenting being driven into the trap set for him. Play school, Pixie, nicely done. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, let me just go back to the DCS window here and get into the server.
Yeah, Slick and I were talking about that for a BFM league, man. You get sponsors and you paint up the jet and all that. That'd be some fantastic stuff. And it looks like Hummingbird says you can call the fight when you're ready in the commenter box. So, do we have a fight going on?
Well, I think I'm nearing success here. I've managed to get the full HD window back up. I'm just going to put this onto the screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So DCS is now resized to full HD, and that's the full HD in OBS. So I'm hoping that this fixes the issue here. All right, let's. All
right, I am ready when you guys are. I'm
let's jump in the jets, guys, and get this next fight going.
How many do we have left? Who's left? Who we got?
Play School, Dylan,
Dylan.
Was it? You need to update us on who's left in the comp here, Hummingbird. Who have we still got? We know we got Play School and Dylan. Is it?
Are we down to 4?
I think. Well, aren't we still? We still got a couple of fights to go, don't we? In that bracket. Let me take a look at that.
Big time Kingsley. Pretty close, man. I'm telling you that DCS is pretty darn close. It's not quite right, but it's close enough to go, you know what, this is familiar.
Well, this is the final. All right, so we've got Play School and Dylan. F15 versus F15. Let's roll it.
I love it. I love you guys.
I think that is a quiet salute to you guys, I think.
Dude, that is fantastic, man. I love it. I love it.
All right.
And I say a couple times it's not quite right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with DCS. The game is fantastic. It's perfectly right for DCS. And as gamers, we all learn how to play the game, all that good stuff. But when you ask, how does it compare? It's very familiar. It does feel like flying an Eagle in most cases. It's really cool.
Okay, so I'm looking at the stream. It's trailing a few seconds behind here. Let us know, guys, if that is smoother for you. Here's F5 view, and coming into the merge.
Yeah, we're going to have a 15,000-foot merge, so none of the dive to the floor stuff this time. It looks
600
like
knots from Play School. What's he going to do with it? New BFM, split S at the merge. Man, how much would this hurt in real life, Guido?
Well, the wings would have probably come off, but holy cow! I didn't see the G when he pulled right there, but that was an aggressive move for sure.
We're definitely getting a little bit of warping. Pixie only rounds out Carlos head to head. Oh god! Play School's taking some early damage. How is Pixie faring over there? Yeah, he's taking some hits as well.
Oh, the competitors went straight after each other's throats. We almost had midair. We got some smoke coming off of Play School. I think Play School took the worst of it, at least from the damage model. He's smoking right there in the wing. He's spun around.
Oh man. Sorry, I've gotten those confused. Pixie, I've been calling him Pixie 67. It's Dylan, and Dylan's just gone down there to Play School. My apologies, Dylan. I got a bit excited with that. So Dylan down to Play School up 1-0 at the moment. You know what? Dylan's not going to take that lying down. We know enough about him to say that, I think, Guido.
Yeah, that was highly aggressive. I mean, that was just... It was punchy face. They just both decided to, you know what, let's just see who's got the better shot. And man, that was amazing.
Super aggressive, those guys head to head. And you know what surprised me about that last fight was Play School going split S, nose low at the merge. I mean, Jesus Christ. Did not expect to see it. With 600 knots, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, you want to talk us through that, Guido? What are the benefits of split S-ing at 600 knots in a guns-only merge? Can you shed any insight on that one for us?
I don't think there's any, because you're going to get turned inside of it. You just can't. Your circle is gigantic. Now it's great if you survive this thing, because now you've got all that energy going uphill. But he just turns it into. He just goes lift vector on and just comes back the other way. So we've seen that from Play School. He just points. He's going to shoot you every time he gets a chance to do it. Look at this. He actually got inside that shot, inside that turn circle. Dylan. And we're
Dylan with the one circle over the top again, and he's still fast, 420 knots, but Play School just getting that nose pointed and getting rounds out. Play School is savage. He's brutal. He's just trying to club Dylan over the head and drag him back into his cave. Oh, a fucking minute. I mean...
Oh, man. That was fantastic.
I mean, guys, come on. Come on. We're going to have to do the write-up. Thoughts?
I love the aggression. I love the aggression, man. These guys... Is this where we start to create that East Coast West Coast rivalry? There's some rivalry between these two F-15 pilots right here that they're just not going to accept each other winning. That's fantastic.
So at the moment, the situation is that we're in the final. Play School versus Dylan, Eagle versus Eagle, and Play School is up 1-0. Again, split S, oblique split S at the merge here, one circle, and head to head again. I mean, they are just using. Go ahead, Guido.
Yeah. I would say Dylan lost some time. He did some kind of reversal stuff, and it just was enough for Play School to get inside. Look, the gun is on. These guys just turned the gun on, lift vector on. He's coming inside him again. Play School. Looks like a neutralish merge right here. There we go. That was the most sedate thing we've had happen all day with these two.
I mean, into what looks to be the beginnings of a roller, but you know, if Dylan gets that nose down, is he going to try and redefine it to vertical two circle here? Who knows? Anything can happen with these two.
Play School goes over slowly. It looks like Dylan is also slow right here. Now we're starting
over the top. I mean, this harks back to what we saw with the fight earlier. When remember when Dylan brought the nose over at just the right point, and he's put rounds again on Play School with that same technique. He's already got the nose where it needs to be. Oh my God! The wing.
The pirouette, that was fantastic, and I wish I was watching because I think he was really kicking the rudder on that. He just pirouetted down by the ground.
But what can you say? What can you say, Guido? 1 second, it looks like Dylan is completely in control of that fight. Here I am, complimenting him. He's still flying, mind you.
Actually, there's rounds coming. Oh no! Look, he's still
hits. Lance hits. He's on fire, landing the hits. More hits. More hits.
I stand corrected. This fight was not over. This fight was not over by a long shot. So let's just keep calling it because Play School is now 360 knots, and Dylan is on fire at 360 knots.
Now do me a favor, Guido. Go F2 to Play School's jet, and then F5 back to what's behind him.
Yeah, Flaming Wreck is climbing up after him. There's still bullets. There are still bullets coming out of Dylan's jet. He just wants that one golden BB to even this thing up. And Play School, I didn't realize, but look at that. Play School is missing part of his first stab also. They're both damaged. All right, this is how this has to end because this is fantastic. Look, these guys are both beat up.
This is it. I mean, Dylan doesn't want to go out. He wants to go to a decider. The question is, can he pull it off? I mean, you know, once the G's start coming on, what's going to happen? It's already lost the wing, hasn't it? It's not as if you can lose any more of that wing. Can he? Or, I mean, maybe he can.
Maybe he just trimmed it out and everything's cool. I don't know.
I don't know with the F-15 if that's a model thing. I know with the Mirage they stopped the wings coming off, but with a Hornet you can still lose a wing if it's damaged. Maybe someone in chat can fill me in on that. I mean,
here we go. Here we go. Play School just reversed. He's in the driver's seat again, but he's only got half of the left vert stab. It's not like he's 100% either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dylan's just a Flaming Wreck flying around with 2/3 of a wing or whatever's going on.
Well, it's the Israeli F-15 all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. I mean, he's trimmed it out, but boy, we were ready to call this over with. We were ready to call this over with, and these two are still going at it. Neither one of them wants to go out of this competition. Play School's lifted and drawn. I think he's in the driver's seat still. He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think. But you know, you cannot discount Dylan. You know,
no.
That golden gun, I mean, I don't know how many rounds he's got left. He could be completely out of ammunition and we wouldn't know about it. Play School pointing again, getting rounds down range here, and then over the top with the one circle again. I mean, look at this, and this time, this is a reversal of what we saw last time in the sense that Play School already has his nose in the right position and comes over the top. He looks like he's out of knots there, but he's still pointing. You see this alpha spike thing that he does, where he looks like he's out of knots, but that nose just, he reach on that stick, and that nose comes right up, and that's potentially all he needs is to, you know, get 50 rounds off with that. More hits, I think, there. I mean, dude, is this what Eagle BFM is really like? Because this is scary shit.
Yeah, it would be. Like I said, we were about to discount him. All we saw was a flaming ball, and then bullets started coming out of the flaming ball, and it was back on, and we were another 45 seconds to a minute into this fight, and neither one of these guys has quit. I wish I knew how many rounds they had, because we may be getting low on rounds here as well.
Head to head again. Oh, but he doesn't contest it, so over the top now. Dylan doing some Mirage flying here.
Is Play School out of rounds? Because he didn't shoot there, and it looked like he had a Wes.
Look at the... Just
he
look at the...
Again. I think he might be out of rounds, man. That's the second time it looked like he might have had a shot. Is he just waiting for Dylan to burn enough till he wins? I don't think he has.
I'm out of words. I don't know. Oh my god!
And that's it.
Play School melts him, and that's it. Play School's the winner. Well done, man.
In a damaged F... Oh, that's great. In a damaged F-15, I mean, you couldn't have had a better final than that.
Guido, you're the real Eagle pilot. Can you talk about Play School's flying there and relate it to real Eagle BFM for us? You know, and also the level of aggression that he displayed there. What are your thoughts on that? Clearly he wants the fight to be over quickly. We all know that, but maybe you can just shed some insight for us.
Well, I think that's pretty classic. I keep saying gamer BFM. That's not exactly what I mean, because there's a lot of lessons to be learned from what happens here. That's very aggressive flying. Even if I was flying an Eagle, trying to go one circle, and we did that to try to make the fight go fast. Why would I might want to do that? I'm low on fuel, man. I don't have time to do this rate fight with you. I need you to go away so I can move on and get out of here. I'm Joker fuel. I don't have time. I like the mentality, especially with the gamer BFM here. But one thing I will say, and I know you know this, if you teach somebody to be aggressive and the other person does not analyze it correctly, you can force them into mistakes pretty quickly.
Yeah. Not sure why my camera's going purple, by the way. More tech issues here. I think maybe because I set the white balance when I had a little bit of daylight now, and the light's gone away, and so that's changed. But now I've got a light. I've got a big light on me, but you know, maybe need to turn the thing up. I don't know. But anyway, the level of aggression there. Touch on that for us, because you said he wants it over quickly, but you know, is it? You know, I think I heard you say it's just bordering on more gamer than real life, right? Like the real guys want it over fast, but that fast? I mean,
I think maybe there's there's possibly a little too much ability for the Eagle in this game to shave off knots to not overshoot. I feel like with inertia, and maybe there's an issue potentially with the drag calculations, or they don't use them in the game. I feel like some of those moves would have been a really gross overshoot in the real jet and would have got you neutralized pretty quickly. It is harder to get, or it is easier to get knots back in this game. But you know what? They're not flying a real jet. They're flying the DCS version of it. And Dylan seems to be an expert at making sure that he can be aggressive. Both of them, really, to be quite honest, they're both doing more or less the same thing. Be very aggressive and then come off without overshooting and maintain the offensive. So, I mean, I liked it. That was some fantastic stuff. The single circle stuff was all solid. There was one thing I was thinking about that I thought was interesting here. I mentioned it several times while we were going. I'd see a guy reverse. It's something that we wouldn't do real world because of the missile threat. You don't just turn your tail. But if you're outside of a gunwes and you're trying to work up to other things, get energy back, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the reversal and giving up angles if the guy's already behind you. The difference between a 4 aspect and a 0 is not much. And maybe you just want to get those knots come up over and force a different fight. And I think we saw that multiple times today.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, I think Sweepers just said in chat there, you guys need to stop doubting Play School. Dude's been insanely good for years. Yeah, he's absolutely insanely good. And I don't think anyone's doubting him. But, you know, you can't discount Dylan either. He's a super aggressive pilot. We saw him come third in folds last year. And I think that entire, all the 3 rounds we saw there were characterized by surprises at every corner. You know, you're just seeing these guys being insanely aggressive and going for whatever they could. I mean, you know, right at the start of the merge, for example, at 600 knots, seeing Play School just split S, you know, new style BFM in a guns only BFM tournament. I mean, you know, it's some of the stuff you saw just defies belief, and yet we saw it. I mean, you would not see a guy, would you, Guido, go split S at the merge at 600 knots and just break himself in the first 5 seconds of a fight, risk blacking out, and risk G-lock, and then 600 knots straight into the ground. I mean,
yeah. But you know, this is DCS, and what it says to me is these dudes were thinking, like, all right, and I'm sure they've all fought each other quite a few times. They're probably coming in, what's my game plan? How do I change it up just enough without giving too much away to make that guy make a mistake, or give him a sight picture he's not seen from me before that I can then translate into an advantage? And that's that chess game piece that so much about.
Yeah, and that's 100% right. I mean, like seeing Dylan grab a Viper to fight against Cinemass. I mean, Dylan's been on the Clinic server now for a good 2 or 3 weeks, I think, and I've maybe seen him fly a Viper once. You know, and he comes in here today and he meets Cinemass, who is a Viper guy from BMS, right? And Dylan takes a Viper to the fight.
Maybe he's sandbagging, man. Maybe he was sandbagging. He's keeping that in reserve, right? That expertise in the Viper. He's gonna chuck it out.
Man, I gotta say, like I said it multiple times today. I was expecting to see Dylan jump into Mirage, and he did not jump into Mirage once. So hats off for giving us an interesting show there, Dylan, and not just going with what you feel safe in. Thank you for the sub, Pixie, and Supersonic Banana on my end. It all felt very smooth, even with the complications. Nice. Thank you, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, we fumbled through it, and there are definitely some good learning points to take out of this. We're gonna go away from this, put you guys in a small raid somewhere, and then we've got to go away from this and debrief it ourselves, take the learning points, and fix the points for next time. I don't know, man. How do you feel, Guido? Are you coming back?
Yeah, I'll definitely be back. Let me just say one thing about all the competitors. It was fantastic start to finish with all you guys, and if there's any negative things that are said about one pilot or the other, that is just simply in the heat of the moment with the idea of trying to all of us get better at it. Me especially. I'm not going to pretend I can beat any of these guys, in DCS. But I appreciate you guys coming by, putting your BFM skills out on the internet, letting us comment on it. I loved it. Thanks, Loblo. I appreciate it. That's all I got to say, man. Thank you.
Man, no, thank you so much. And I've got to give a quick shout out to the guys behind the scenes who help us run this thing, because it's not just us that you see on screen. There's other guys, Hummingbird, running the organization. We had, a couple of other guys there helping us with some marshalling. There's been other guys who have helped me with getting the stream set up, Malta, TFT Rage. We've got Firequencher who provides the server for the clinic. Malta provided us with a server as well. The reason that the clinic is becoming such a great place, I feel the morale here is so high, is because we've got guys donating their time, their resources, their advice, and everyone's pitching in and making this place a really nice place to be. And as Guido says, sometimes during the streams we might get excited, and we're not criticizing anybody in BFM at all. Please don't take it that way. We're just really grateful that you guys come, you fly in the tournaments, throw down against each other, and show us the savagery, man. And it's awesome. We love it. So we live for this BFM stuff, and we are super lucky to have such a good community here. So cheers, guys, for pitching in. Really appreciate it. We will see you either next week or the week after. I think it's going to be within the next 2 weeks for another BFM stream. We need to talk to Malta about that stuff as well. But peace, guys. Thanks for joining us, and stand by for a small raid here. Catch you later.
Right on, man.